countdown begin. Raze back live again. Pop culture, entertainment, of course, the hot topics. Traveling somewhere in the tropics. Usually preserved for smoke show panels, $1 million plays. We expanding the channel, they say opinions like assholes. Watch your mouth at all times and don't mess up the cash flow. We live.
They made their flight, you didn't. And you think, oh, you're going to check me in. I bet you we won't. Hey?
I paid for a ticket.
And you didn't pay $25 for agent assist fee and you checked in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that I
get on your flight.
Yeah, I just said that I would pay the $25.
And you thought you was going to get on your flight. And you thought you was going to get on your flight. And you thought you was going to get on your flight. And you thought you was going to get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight. And they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in, and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space. This is not your personal space. This is
my stationery.
This is not your personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't gotta worry about it. We ain't gotta worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Raze back live again on this Sunday noontime live stream. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there who is a mom. Man, as you've seen in the video, someone got fired out there in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. Yes, that was the airport out there where the 2 women workers were fired, let go because of this incident out there involving a passenger who missed his flight. I'm going to get into the article in a minute, but hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button as you guys come in on this noontime, guys. And I'm going to ask you guys, were they in their right to speak that way to the customer, to the passenger? Were the Frontier Airlines executives right to fire the employees? So we're gonna get into that in a minute. I might drop this link for a little bit. I don't know. This is not gonna be a long live because I'm about to get this workout in. I got my C4 to your door, no beef, no more, at the chagrin of Art of Will. But how y'all guys doing? And like I said, on this Mother's Day, and I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be spending time with your mamas on this Mother's Day. My Knicks got shellacked. They got shellacked yesterday, destroyed by Boston. But like I said, shout out to everybody. Hopefully the Knicks recover, because that was an embarrassment yesterday. They just was getting toyed with like they were in the junior varsity. The Boston Celtics were the varsity team, and and the Knicks were junior varsity. Man, let me see who's in this building early. I'm going to play the video again for anybody coming in that didn't see the video yet. But like I said, the 2 employees were fired. And like I said, I asked the question, were they, properly fired for that incident? Let me see. Anybody want to hit the members only right there? Join members only, $2 a month. Thank you everybody who has been hitting up their members only. I like discussing topics with you guys in the members only. Also, $2 a month. Adric Harpoy says, the apprentice, you're fired. You're fired. Now, it did seem like a manager came in between them, like the older lady. She came in, the two younger chicks were going back and forth with the guy who happened to miss the flight. Matter of fact, let me read to you why he missed the flight. And but I assume the two young ladies that were holding their phones up like this, I assume that they were the ones who were fired. So let me see. Oh, we got a new member right here. We got a new member. Oh, thank you. We got a new member right there. All right, Alive Inside. Salute to you, Alive Inside. Salute to you. Like I say, I like to have these little fireside chats in the members only. Alive Inside. So shout out to you. Enjoy the members only section. I had a bunch of stuff. I had a lot more in the members only. I got a bunch of stuff in there now, but I had a lot more. But YouTube policies, I was like, you know what? I had a bunch of kind of on edge type stuff in there, but YouTube policy, man, they've been trying to demonetize people, and so I had to delete those out of the members only. But we're gonna be having some, chats inside there, also, like we have been doing. So shout out to I like to go in there and get advice from guys, you know what I'm saying, the members only. So. So welcome to the Zafasa crew, Alive Inside. Shout out to you, Adric Hotpoy. Let me read to you guys what's going on with this. Now I've had my issues with airline employees. Well, you know what? I can't really say airline employees. I can say, and that was Frontier, by the way. That was Frontier Airlines, which I flew Frontier before back in the days. I can't say I didn't have my issue with the airline employees per se. I've always had issues with security and customs agents. When I had my exchanges and back and forths flying, going abroad, that's when most of the Razes problems come up. And, me not really appreciating the extra searching and the extra searches that I've been called upon to do, in them airports. And let's just say it hasn't really been pleasant as far as the exchanges, me and the people that work inside the airport, as far as the search team and also customs. Because when you're coming back, let's say Colombia, especially coming back from Colombia, I've been pulled aside a couple of times. You know what I mean? You want to do some extra searching, like I'm transporting narcotics and stuff, you know what I'm saying? They're all up in my bag, asking me all these questions, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to act all cool afterwards, you know what I'm saying? So, but how were the girls? They actually asked me how were the girls out there inside Colombia, you know what I'm saying? While they're searching my bags for coke, you know what I mean? searching my bag for coke and all that, and he asked me how the girls out there, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. And, this one time I had an issue out here in JFK. This guy, he kept searching me and wanting to spray stuff on my hand when I was going through the security line, and I was like, what's that? What you trying to spray on my hand? What is that? He said, oh, I just don't feel comfortable because, the thing keep binging and keep ringing. I said, look, I got nothing in my pockets. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could walk back through. I walk back through and ping again. I'm like, yo, just pat right here, pat. He like, oh, can we go in the back and do a private search? I said, nah, we're not doing a private search. I mean, I said, we ain't doing a private search. You can search me right here. I got nothing on me, and I had some shorts on underneath my pants. So I started to take off my pants. He's looking like, oh, sir, you can't, don't. I said, no, you search me right here. But I had shorts. I had some jean shorts on because when I get off the plane, sometimes I like to take off my pants and have my shorts on, especially when I'm going to a place that's hot, which most of the places I do go is hot, is warm. So I was like, nah, I'm not going over there for no private search. You search me right here. But but I do see plenty of incidents where airline employees, especially when guys miss their flights or having issues getting on their flight, they do get in there. Arguments and fist fights with some of the airline employees. You know what I'm saying? But let me read what was this all about right here. This is in Raleigh, North Carolina. Shout out to North Carolina. North Carolina. I've been to North Carolina before, been to South Carolina before. And this from NewYorkPost.com. It says Frontier Airlines agents fired after hitting them with surprise. Well, all right, no, so that's not that one. All right. So airline, all right, let me read this one first. Airline, all right, Frontier Airline agents jeer at passengers after hitting him with surprise fee. You thought you were gonna get on your flight? ? All right, so wild viral footage has captured Frontier Airlines gate agents getting into a bust-up with a passenger who had sniped. I'm never flying this airline again after being hit with an unexpected $25 fee just to check in. Yes, if Frontier Airlines, they hit you with a $25 fee to check in if you check in at the airport. If you checking in at the airport, like at the desk, they hit you with a $25 fee. So you're going to, if anybody's taking Frontier Airlines, you want to check in through your mobile before you even get to the airport. Or if you're at the airport, you can check in through your mobile at the airport. Don't go to that desk and try to check in. They're going to charge you $25. Okay. The caught on camera saga erupted when the male passenger, a 45-year-old married father of 3, was trying to check in for his Frontier flight from Raleigh, North Carolina to Boston last Friday after a week-long business trip. Okay. The passenger, who didn't want to be identified, told the Post he arrived at the airport with roughly 50 minutes to spare, but wasn't able to check in on the electronic kiosk because he didn't know. All right. He had missed the airline's 60-minute pre-departure window. So you got to check in 60 minutes before. Okay. So he had arrived. He was trying to check in at the kiosk, but he missed the 60-minute pre-departure window. Okay. When he went to speak to the Frontier employee, he was told he needed to cough up $25 to check in at the desk per the airline's policy. That's what I was just talking about right there. I guess, I don't know if he had the $25 or not, but you know, I've been told that before too. When I took airline, Frontier, I took it one time, Frontier, a few years ago. And I remember they was like, you know, you got to pay the $25. You know what I'm saying? That's when I said, okay, I just stepped off the line and went to my, I went to my mobile phone and got some Wi-Fi and went on and checked in to my, but I was still outside the 60 minutes. You know what I'm saying? He was in the 60 minutes frame, so he couldn't check in through the kiosk. He had to check in at that station, at the counter, you know, and pay the $25. All right, that's when he claims things turned sour. Yeah, so they all kind of started chiming in. Well, you should have checked in through the website. All right. Like not in a professional or polite way. So he said they was being rude, as you guys seen in the video, which I'm gonna play again. They were like, it was your fault for not checking in on the website. All right. Sorry, it's on you. He said of the moments before he decided to start filming. After a 20-minute back and forth, the passenger said he finally relented and agreed to pay the fee. As he reached for his wallet, he copped to muttering, I'm never flying this pissy airline again. Well, he didn't use those words, but you know, when I said that, the lady who I was talking to, all right, took a step back and gasped and was like, how dare you curse me? All right, I'm not checking you in. So all right, so after he said that after he started cursing, saying I'm never flying this pissy airline again, she said, look, she's not going to check him in. So he agreed to pay the $25, but she heard him say, look, I'm not flying this pissy airline again. She got offended and said she's not going to check him in. Then he started pointing their phones at each other. Yeah, so and that was the video I played. Let me play it again, and I'm going to get to your comments. And I'm going to ask you who was right, who was wrong, and should the employees have been fired for this. So hit that like button, guys. This is the video right here.
They made their flight. You did. And you think, you're going to check me in. I bet you we won't. Okay?
I paid for a ticket.
And you
Yeah,
didn't
I
pay
paid for a
$25 for an
ticket.
agent assist fee, and you check in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just
And
said
you
that
thought you
I.
was gonna get on your flight.
Yeah, I
And you
just
thought
said
you was
that
gonna get
I
on your
would
flight.
pay the
And you thought you was gonna
$25.
get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your
Because
flight.
it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly
You were
on
about to
Frontier
let me
unless-
check in. You were about to let me check in,
Oh,
and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the
Can you
flight.
please leave, sir?
No,
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space.
You're in
This
my
is
face.
not your
I work
personal
here.
space.
This is my stationery.
This is not
I'm at
your
Frontier.
personal space. You work for a company. This
you
is
get left
not
for
your
work.
personal space.
We ain't got to worry about it. We ain't got to worry about it.
You don't have to
We ain't
worry
getting
about
no
it. You're literally not doing
We
your
ain't gotta get no
job
flight.
for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
Okay, now I got the full context. I just seen the video before I came live. I did not read the article. So I got the article from NewYorkPost.com. Now I see the context of what happened. Who's to blame, guys? Who is to blame for that dust up? That's what I want to know. Now, I have my opinion on it. Now that I see the whole story, I see exactly what happened now. And those employees did get fired. I assume the 2 young employees that was, holding the camera up towards them. This one complicated because now that I see exactly what happened inside the article, and the guy was like, "Look, I'm going to pay the $25. Just let me on, but I'm never flying this airline ever again." The employee heard that. The female employee heard that and said, "Look, you know what? How dare you curse at me like that? I'm not checking you in." So she refused to check him in, even though he said he's going to pay the $25 to check in. That's when he put out the camera, had the exchange, and I guess he didn't get on the flight at all. They fired the employees for mocking the passenger. What do y'all guys think? Who was right? Who was wrong? Who was right? Who was wrong? Who was right? And should they have been fired? Because they were fired. The two employees were fired. Now, they're not specifically saying which 2 employees were fired. I'm just assuming that the 2 younger employees, the 2 females, were fired. But I can't really make out who exactly was fired. Anybody know exactly? Well, I don't know. Let me see. Man, like I said, man, and the thing is, me going on these flights internationally is headache enough because, going through customs, that's my biggest issue, going through customs and security. Now we've seen the videos of Spirit Airlines and like now Frontier, people fighting and this and that with the agents, the airline agents. We've seen that. We've seen fist fights. That's one thing I've never had to endure. Like I said, my only problems have been with security and customs agents. But I can see how some people have attitudes, you know what I'm saying, working on their jobs. So do you believe that the females' attitudes were just out of line, out of place? Or the passenger, he shouldn't have said, "I'm never flying this airline ever again." Now, should have the agents taken that so personally? You know what I'm saying? It's not like they don't own the airline. He just said, "Look, this is a airline. I'm never flying it again." Should she have just went on and ignored them and just checked them in, took the $25 and checked them in, let them go on his way, right? Because by her saying, "Look, I'm not checking you in," that escalated the situation, and I guess that's probably why right there they were fired, because like, look, just let them pay, ignore them, let them go on the flight. I think that's what she should have did. Sometime in life, you just got to ignore people, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, go on with your day, take the money, let them go on with their day, you know, at that point. Because he didn't say that you personally are he didn't say, hey, you are a person. He said, look, I'm never flying this airline ever again. You know what I'm saying? But she took that to offense. You know, so let me get to some of y'all comments. Shout out to Tony Hernandez. What up, Tony? Come on, stop, Tony. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I want to speak to a manager. It seemed like the manager came in between and just started, you know, she was doing something on the computer. It seemed like the manager should have came in and said, look, no, I'll check you in, whatever. I don't know why they allowed the female. Maybe they all was offended. Because I heard the white guy in the background say, look, we're going to do you a favor and not check you in because you said you're never going to fly this airline ever again. I don't know. Maybe he was fired. I don't know. But it seemed like nobody stepped in to check in the guy, take his money. They allowed the first girl to say, look, I'm just not checking you in. I guess other people had the authority to check him in. They could have stepped in and said, I'll check you in. You know what I mean? So let me see. I work for a carrier, says Delta One. That was really bad. Instant termination. Okay, so Delta One says, look, this is really bad. Instant termination. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that. Y'all guys agree with Delta One? It seems like it seems like it. And she could have kept a job. They could have kept their jobs if they would have just sometimes let your ego go. Let your ego go. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I know customers can be, and passengers can be annoying as hell too. But same thing with YouTube. On YouTube, you can't listen to everybody's criticism of you. You can't. Everybody is trying to bait you into a back and forth debate. You can't let them bait you because you're not. It's YouTube. The internet is undefeated. You're never going to win. Because there's so many people on social media, so you can't get baited into every single debate or every single battle on YouTube. Same as when you're working at an airline. You know, that right there was one where the chick should have just, after he said, I'm never flying this airline again, she should have just ignored them, got the money, because he did not say you are a employee. That would have been different if he would have said you are a employee, you know. Let me see. Shaniqua were out of order. Okay, Shaniquas were out of order. The Times Square statue was built honoring these two exemplary creatures. Yeah, what's up with that Times Square statue? What was that? Somebody sent me that. My guy, let me see. All right, let me see what. Somebody sent me that statue. I'm like, what the hell? It's been a while since I've been to Times Square, though. I've been to Manhattan, but not Times Square lately. Let me see. What was this statue? Somebody, yeah, they had this. You talk about this statue right here. What's this statue about? Anybody know about this statue? What in Times Square? Why is this statue out there in Times Square? Anybody know? Can anybody update Raze on why? I should know. I'm in New York, right? I should know. I had no idea. Somebody sent to me this yesterday. I don't know. I'm like, what the hell? Been vlogged. What the Yeah, but shout out to Chris J. Nice day, Raze. You can leave the basement today. LOL. Jack Black. Yeah. Hey, like I said, hit the members only. Like Alan's Aliven's what? What's that? No, Aliven's died. Alive inside. Like alive inside. Yes, hit the members only. I'm gonna come live from members only from outside later on. Maybe from Crown Fried. Maybe from Crown Fried. I'll come live from members only later on from outside. Tony Hernandez says they could have gotten away with it if he was black. They don't know their place. Tony Hernandez. Now it did sound like a white guy, right? It sounded like a Caucasian. Now the white employee, though, he did say something at the end. He said, look, we're gonna, since you said it was a airline, well, we're going to do you a favor and not check you in. So he denied him getting checked in also. So was he fired? They said 2 employees. I assume the first lady was fired. The first girl with the phone out. At first, I was assuming both of the young black women were fired. But the other people didn't check him in either. Well, maybe they, maybe the ones that were arguing back and forth with him were fired. I don't. Yeah, so if anybody knows about why is this statue out there inside Times Square, let me know. It's just so random, sometimes we just get random stuff out here, I mean, it's no big deal or not like that. It's cool, but it's just so random. It's funny, it's just funny. Why is that statue there? Oh man, hit that like button, guys. It's early Sunday, Mother's Day. Oh, maybe it's for Mother's Day. Maybe that statue for Mother's Day. Yeah, maybe it's for Mother's Day. Boston in 5. Yeah, Knicks got beat down. They got beat down, Jack Black. They got beat down. I said newest member, Grace and Crew, $2. Hit the join button. I'll come live from outside later on, members only. Ask y'all, because I'm gonna need y'all guys, where should I go for my birthday this month? You know what I'm saying? Some opinions or whatever. Talk to you guys about some travel stuff. We having some great discussions inside the members only. Like I said, maybe from the Crown Fried on the park somewhere. Delete the video. Yeah, Troll Star. Salute to you, Troll Star. Strike that. Boston is 6. It's not looking good. I was talking to my friend last night. It's not looking good for the Knicks, even though they're up 2-1. They got beat down so badly that it's like it just looked like a JV team versus the varsity team, and it was like that during the regular season. So Boston Celtics should be ashamed that they lost the first 2 games. They were up by 20 in both games and they just blew it. Those are choke jobs right there. They didn't even shoot the threes that good in those first 2 games, and they were still up by 20 in both of them. But, Knicks have a chance because of those choke jobs by Boston. So they are still up 2-1. So hopefully they could pull out a victory tomorrow night. But that was straight up beat down. Knicks tried. The Knicks tried. They were trying their hardest, but they were just like getting blocked on dunks, blocked on layups. They couldn't get nothing going. I mean, they were trying, though. It wasn't like they weren't trying. I seen they were trying for the Garden crowd. Frontier, Allegiant, Spirit, the Ghetto, trifecta. But those are the cheapest. Those are the cheapest airline. Like I said, I flew Frontier once. Frontier once. It used to be JetBlue was the discount airline, but JetBlue kind of like raised their status, right, guys? JetBlue, it seems like JetBlue has raised their status. It used to be back in it like 10, 15 years ago, JetBlue was the discount airline, but it seemed like since then JetBlue has raised their status as an airline. Now with me, it's like I said, I flew Frontier once. I've never flown Spirit, so I'm not a Spirit flying ninja like B-Dub Shadowhawk I like to say, but I have flown Frontier once. My thing is just don't crash. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the food on the plane. I don't care about the cable TV. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing these days, just don't crash the goddamn plane, okay? When I take off, I expect to take off, fly smoothly, and land smoothly. As long as you can promise me that, I don't care how cheap the airline is, for the most part, right? For the most part. The reason I never flown Spirit because I don't like their hitting, pricing practices. You know what I'm saying? Just put the price, what I'm paying for, what I'm paying for. You know what I'm saying? You want to charge for every little extra thing. By the time you pay for everything, it comes up to the same price as American Airlines or JetBlue flight anyway. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just take off, land properly, and I'm fine. All right. We good. We Gucci. Let me see. What up, Razor? Drop the link. Ghost bags. I seen you somewhere. I seen ghost bags somewhere. I seen you in passing. Where were you? You was on somebody's panel. Was you on this panel before? You was on somebody's panel. Salute, Tony Mist. I think I dropped the link if you guys want to talk about this real quick. Anybody, any one of you guys, y'all got any horror stories about airline horror stories? Yeah, I'm gonna drop the link. It's not gonna be a long live because I got this C4 I'm drinking, and you know when I drink this C4 to your door, no beef, no more. That means Ray's about to get it in the gym. I gotta pump back up. Them chicks out there in Punta Cana took away all my powers. Shout out to you, Tony Mist. Travel squad in the building. That's why I don't fly on them budget airlines. Customer service always sucks and all the passengers are angry. Woo! Now, yes, we have seen the fights. The Spirit Airlines, we've seen those fights in the airport. You know what I'm saying? At the terminal, fist fights. It's like a gangs of people be fighting sometime each other. You know what I'm saying? I guess I don't know about the complain about skipping the line. I don't know. I've seen ticket agents get punched in the face. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've seen it all. Travel Squad. I mean, on video, not in person. Like I said, I didn't did the Frontier once. I never did the Spirit, you know. But I guess in emergency situations, those airlines do come into handy. That's why I did Frontier, because I was in like a kind of like an emergency situation. And there wasn't hardly no real other flights. I'm like, some of the flight prices were OD'd. I'm like, I'm not paying all that. So Frontier popped up. I said, okay, hey, $200 cheaper. Hey, let's take some Frontier. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just get me there. Get me there in one piece without crashing. I saw this yesterday morning, says Jay White. Yeah, Jay White. What you think about it, Jay White? What you think about it? Who was right? Who was wrong? Should they have been fired? Now, a couple of you guys saying they should have been fired. Instant termination. I would say this. I hate to see people lose their jobs in the economy. I would never say anybody should have been fired unless I guess I was the person. If I was the person getting not allowed on the plane, maybe I would, but I fire them. But me as an observer, it didn't happen to me. So I don't want to see them lose their jobs, you know what I'm saying, which they did, because people gotta make a living, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be so casual as to say, fire them, but they should have been suspended. Maybe they should have suspended them and reprimanded them. You know what I'm saying? I think a suspension would have been good, and make them have to go back into training as far as dealing with customer service. Because like I said, you're paying with people money. You know what I'm saying? Firing people. You know what I'm saying? But hey. But I think a suspension would have been just as good as far as the airline. They could say, yeah, those agents were suspended. At least you're doing something. You're letting the public know, look, we don't tolerate that from our agents, and they are being punished. You know what I'm saying? But I would have let them keep their job because, like I said, people need to make money. You know what I mean? Now, if it came into a fist fight, now if they were fist fighting and stuff like that, then yeah, go ahead and fire them. You know what I'm saying? Because of course, like I said, if I was the person involved and it wasn't let on a plane, yeah, you want the worst for those employees. You want them to be fired. But I wasn't the person. Of course, the person that's being the victim, or not the victim, but the person that's being in the incident always want the worst for the person they go on back and forth with. But I wasn't. So I'll be like, yeah, don't fire them. Just suspend them. You know what I'm saying? What y'all think? I think they should have just been suspended. How about you guys? Should they have just been suspended? Hit that like button, guys. Let me see. Shout out to you guys, man. Been donating to the Raze birthday travel fund. We will be flying out of here end of the month for my birthday. Shout out to my guy Brock Lesnar. He's going to be out there inside Peru. So shout out to him. I want to see his review. But get his review on Peru, Lima, Peru. Both were wrong. One arrived late, and the workers were unprofessional. Yeah, he arrived late, and he was complaining about the $25 fee. He finally said he's going to pay the $25 fee, but he said, I'm never flying this airline again. And the lady took offense, and she just let her emotions get the best of her. And now she's fired, along with the other lady. I don't think the man got fired. You know what I mean? But you know, low budget stereotypes coming true. Jake White says, if the customer was nasty, you still had to be professional. So the customer looks bad. They didn't and seemed like they retaliated to the customer that was bad. He said that was a bad look. All right. He's wrong for thinking his snooty attitude would be acceptable, and both the girls and the other guy wrong, because at that point, they were all just in a power struggle. Yeah, it was a power struggle at that point. You're all right about that, Ghostface. All right. Alive Inside, the newest member of the Surfacer crew, says, I didn't know that the white guy said, I'm never flying this bleep airline again. It doesn't make it right, but I can see why the airline workers got in their feelings after he said that. Yes, I can see. Yeah, 100%. I can see 100%. And that's why I'm saying, look, maybe they should have just been suspended because they didn't come to blows. You know, they wasn't fighting. I understand. See, I'm a common sense type of person. But technically, he didn't say, you are a employee, right? He just said the airline. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said, all right, I give her a suspension. She should have just went on and checked them in to avoid, because sometimes you got to teach your employees to de-escalate. Teach your employees to de-escalate situations. You know what I'm saying? Because if you keep mouthing off, all you do is escalate the situation. Sometimes it's best not to respond, because if you respond, it's going to keep going back and forth, back and forth. It's going to get worse and escalate a situation. You know what I'm saying? Which that situation, she should have just ignored and just went on and checked them in. That's why I said, Jake White, can you read? I mean, that's what I said, Jake White, can you read? Oh, man. Employees should remain professional at all times. Yeah. And you know, and like I said, I'm not naive. People get emotional and get in their feelings. So it's easy for me to say, you know, stick to the military code. You gotta be. That's why people go to boot camp. They put you in boot camp, you know, for the military, because they gotta you know, train you mentally to keep your military bearing, right, and stay. Don't get emotional, right? But they're not doing that in you know, normal workforce. So people got emotions. God made people with emotions, so people are going to get pissed off no matter if they're supposed to stay professional or not, right? You know, sometimes you just let it fly with the mouth, and you just mouth off because you're mad. And then you look back like, man, I shouldn't have said all that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's been times on this YouTube channel over the past year and a half, my battles with people. I would be getting drunk, or not really drunk, well, tipsy, drunk, whatever. And you know, I start like, I just throw everybody off the panel, curse everybody out, and you know what I'm saying? Threaten this person, threaten that. And I'm like, stay professional days are days. So I look back like, damn, I did all that. God damn. As an airline employee, you would think you would try your best. You know, that right there, the girl lost her job because she was mouthy. Couldn't take a loss, or couldn't take a perceived loss. Some people don't like to take a perceived loss. All she had to do is take the guy money, check him in, take the loss, let him win the argument. All right, he said the airline is take the loss. Take it. He didn't say you were. He said he's never flying this airline again. Just take the loss. Take the L. Take the L. Take the perceived L, because it's not an L. You're not taking a loss. You're taking a perceived L in your head, and now you mouthing off back at this guy, and now you're fired because of it. And shoot out the Della hater. They definitely should have been fired right along with the white guy who worked for Frontier as well. He's not an exception to the rule. Yeah, because he did mouth off too. And the older lady, she came through. She could have stepped in and said, "I'm gonna check you in," right? I don't know her authority there. I don't know. The white guy, he was over there. He mouthed off saying, "Look, we're gonna make it to where, since you said it's a airline, we're gonna make it to where you don't check in." So he didn't step in and say, "All right, I'm gonna check you in." He felt a certain way. He was in his feelings also about him saying this airline is basically a piss poor airline. You know what I mean? Adric High Poise in the building. The customer is right. Business can't fire at will. No questions asked. Adric High Poise. Shout out to you, Adric High Poise. You can't be unprofessional at work. Also, passengers should know you should arrive 2 hours before for domestic flights and 3 hours before international flights. Yes, that's always, you should know that. You should know that. Strings TV, that was weird. He should have just gone to another line. Well, sometimes the gate just have two workers right there, which we seen the two workers. But the $25, they started getting the argument because of the $25. Actually, he didn't. At first he did $25, and they got the argument about him being late. You know what I'm saying? And that's when they started going back and forth. Then he turned the camera on. Then he finally agreed to pay the $25, but he said the thing about it being a piss poor airline, and that's what really triggered things. He said, "I'm just not going to check you in." And then that's when he was like, "Look, you said you was going to check me in. Now you don't want to check me in? Or because I said your airline is horrible?" The rudeness isn't a policy everywhere like it is in New York. Y'all used to it, Raze. Yeah, I mean, it's so much rudeness everywhere in New York City. So we used to it. It's like I've grown a callous, to the amount of rudeness out here inside New York with everything. Yeah, just going to the goddamn laundromat, rudeness. You know what I'm saying? Going to Crown Fried Chicken, rudeness. You know what I'm saying? Going to the park, rudeness. Going to McDonald's, rudeness. You know what I mean? So going to Coney Island, rudeness. So I've developed callous. I'm numb to people acting rude out here inside New York City, and damn sure I'm in that airport, JFK, LaGuardia, Newark. You know what I mean? Rudeness is abound. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to it. MTA. Remember we used to have to go to the booth and pay the lady behind the counter, the lady or the man behind the counter, and give her the money to get your Metro card? Those some rude sons of bitches behind there. But we don't gotta do that no more because it's all automated. And those some rude people working behind the booths inside the MTA for those years when they used to take our money and they had to give us the Metro cards or the tokens back in the days. Rude, like mean, like they didn't want to be there. They didn't want to give you your Metro card or your change. You're like, yo, what do you ask them for directions? You ask them, is the train running? They want to have an attitude. You know what I'm saying? Which leads to arguments. The DMV, yeah, Polo Stat, yeah, the DMV, rude. Department of Motor Vehicles, rude. Jam Yardy, both wrong. Also, you don't arrive 30 minutes before a flight, especially with Frontier. Yeah, because they're gonna charge you. They charge you for everything. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the best thing to try to do is kindness. But I understand. I understand you get pissed off, man. Especially He was at a business meeting out there inside Raleigh, North Carolina, trying to get back to Boston, I guess, to celebrate the Boston Celtics win yesterday. No, this happened probably before the Celtics won. I don't know. So both parties were wrong. See, the thing is, and this is a lesson for people, you're an employee. So the customer, yeah, he could be wrong and miss this flight. But if you get wrong, you lose your job. You lose your salary. You know what I'm saying? You lose your way of living. Yeah, you caused him to miss his flight. You know, he was wrong, right, in his own right. But you caused him to miss his flight. All right, he misses the flight. He could catch another flight. You know, on the next airline, or even that same airline, and catch the next flight, right? You out of a job now. You know, so he really didn't really have nothing to lose besides a flight. You lost your job, your salary, your income, your way of living. You know. Let me see. See, a Cash App donation just came through. Let me see who this is in the Cash App. I think I know who it is. It's my guy. He's my guy. Is that Drees? Salute Drees TV for the Cash App donation. Yo, shout out to you, Drees. He said the $2 challenge. Shout out to you, Drees TV. My guy, Drees TV. How you doing? Pioneer the YouTube travel game. The Cash App. Drees TV. Now, guys, let me play the exchange one more time for you guys, for people that didn't come in. Shout out to everybody watching. I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna drop the link for you guys. You guys want to comment on this video right here?
The Mayday flight, you did, and you think you're gonna check me in? I bet you we won't. Okay?
I paid for a ticket.
And you didn't pay $25 for agent assist fee, and you checked in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that I.
Get on your flight.
Yeah, I just said that I would pay the $25.
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in, and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space. This is not your personal space.
This is my stationery.
This is not your personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't gotta worry about it. We ain't gotta worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
So you seen the guy entered, said, look, we might as well not let you on. You said, you're never flying it again. Let's help you out and keep you off this flight. So I don't know specifically. I don't know which two got fired. Who got fired? Which two got fired? They don't explain it in the articles of who actually got fired. I'm just assuming the two young ladies got fired. Does anybody know? I'm dropping a link so anybody can come up and talk about this situation. And I want to thank Ghost for the Cash App donation. I want to thank my guy Drees TV at Pioneer. Him and Roll the Tape on his YouTube travel game for the Cash App donation, the $2 challenge. And Steven S. I got your Cash App also. I had got that when I got off the live stream yesterday. So Stephen S, thank you for your Cash App donation. Shout out to you guys. Let me drop this link for you guys. I want to see, does anybody know exactly who got fired? So I was just assuming, but they say, you know what they say, don't assume anything. Let me see. Now I know Frontier Airline, they probably just mad because they making world star hip hop right now. So they probably are like, you know what? These chicks allowed us to make it to world star. Let me see what that. Auto Whale is in the building. Salute to you, Auto Whale. An honest mistake is forgivable. Being a professional isn't an honest mistake. Shout out to you, Auto Whale. Crashing out over ghetto stuff is just sad, says Night Jade. The lovely Night Jade. Shout out to you. Where's Milano is in the building. Raze. They are rude and a-holes in Boston, Massachusetts. That is why I haven't went back. Miserable people in my hometown in Boston. I know you're happy about them Celtics, though. But they Celtics still down 2-1, though. They still down 2-1. But, you know, that was just a beatdown of the Knicks, Milano. Dawn says, and he probably got a free credit. I don't know. I don't know what he got. Frontier probably, you know, they probably did something good for him, so he won't, you know, for public relations, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I think they could have just suspended the two females, because I hate to see people lose their job, you know what I mean? Lose their livelihood. Is the statue as bad in person? I've never seen it in person. I didn't even know that statue was out there in Times Square. That's the funny part. Tunnel Runner is in the building. Salute, Tunnel Runner. Yeah, he was here yesterday. Salute to you, Tunnel Runner. I see you guys in the back right now. I'm gonna bring y'all guys up in a minute. I remember those days. Salute, King Cap. DMD has some rude customer service. Hell yeah. Rudeness is the norm in NYC. What companies has the rudest, employees? $25 ain't really that much to argue about. International travels, right? It's not. It's just a surprise, I guess. So I didn't argue about it when they told me. I just left the line and said, oh, well, I'm gonna go do it from my phone. What up at Sunday Night Smoke? Salute to you, Sunday Night Smoke. T. Williams, Frontier is a low budget airline. This happens all the time. You get what you pay for. Says T. Williams. St. Nick, jolly old St. Nick is in the building. I'm just going through your chat before I bring people up. The Gangsta Lifestyle is in the building. Big Gains is in town. Salute, Big Gains. Ed Babine is here. Just hire better people. It almost looks like the employees was making fun of him. Why did they let him buy the tickets? I'm confused. They were mocking him, Ed Babine. That was the headline. And they should have been fired. This bad publicity is going to cost the company a lot more money than allowing him pay the fee and board the flight. Okay. Chef, working in customer service, you must maintain a high level of professionalism. Exactly, Raze. Okay, so I'm just catching up with some of y'all stuff. Like I said, thank you for your Cash App donations. Morsi Jojo, rudeness is the norm in New York City. Well, yeah. And like I said, this happened in North Carolina, JD. It's the constant repeating of words. Now they weren't professional at all. 30 minutes before. All right. What up, Ghost? And thank you for that donation, Ghost.
What's going on, man?
All good, man.
No problem. Path Travels, he educated me on, coming to the path. I'm new to this whole space thing.
Yeah, so, I think over the past couple of days, I seen you somewhere.
Yeah, man, we're trying to hit these YouTube streets. A lot of people know me in the travel gang, but a lot of people don't know me outside. So, but blessings to your channel, blessings to your station, to the Razor Nation. I sent the Cash App because I wanted to also ask you respectfully if you, well, before I get into that part, I'm also a personal friend of Virtual Menace.
Virtual Minutes, yes. I met Virtual Minutes before out in Punta Cana.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. He was the reason why I got started on this whole travel thing years ago. And also, if you know Rainwater, Mo3, anything like that, that's my team as well.
All right.
So yeah, just to get into it, I dropped that just as a courtesy of love and respect coming over here because I just started my channel.
Right.
And Virtual and I think it was a guy named Dirk. He told me he referred you, and I came over here. He said everybody kept pointing to Raze. So
all right.
Yeah. So I want to tap in and ask if you could, kindly send your people my way. And
is what? Ghost Bags, that's the channel name?
Yeah, Ghost Bags.
Ghost Bags is the channel. Yeah, you sent me that donation, so I drop your channel link for you. You sent the donation. You sent the money. You sent it in.
Yeah,
so,
got to. Pap told me.
Drees TV. Shout out to Drees. Shout out to Drees. Thank you for the donation also, Drees TV. All right.
But Pap told me that was the professional way of doing things when you hit the panel, because that was the first time I hit that. And then also I had two stories I wanted to share with you before I even get to promoting my channel. I had two stories I wanted to share with you about horror stories in the Dominican Republic. But then also,
well, all right. Before we get to that, we're gonna stick with the what happened with the airline first, and then you can get to your horror story, and I'm gonna drop your channel. So, what do y'all feel about the this horror story about these two people getting fired, Auto Whale and Tunnel Runner?
So, what I think is you can't go to the check-in counter 30 minutes before the flight. That's just not going to work. Having said that, I'm sorry to say this, but the staff should be fired because honest mistakes can be forgivable. This really isn't an honest mistake. This was being unprofessional is definitely an avoidable mistake. And the reason why I say fire, because you have a lot more qualified people looking for jobs that would be very grateful for having a job like this. And one personal example, Chick-fil-A near me. Once some of the people that have gotten replaced over there, quality has gotten much better. So that also includes that white guy. He should also be fired as well.
Okay, yeah, and I was going to ask you that the white guy. Now I don't know the exact two employees who were fired. Does anybody know? Tunnel Runner, do you know who's exactly fired?
No, I don't. It's probably just the two black girls, because the white guy, I mean, he just said, they were being more hyperbolic. They were acting up too much. If they would have just said, "Sir, you can't make your flight," and just keep yourself in control, they would have been okay. But they were going back and forth. You don't go back and forth with nobody. You just do your job, sir. Okay, if you don't want to give me the money, you ain't gonna make your flight. Sorry, sir, and leave it like that. They had to be more adults. They became kids. Her and her little friend over there, and laughing about it. Just be professional. It's a part of being professional. And like the guy said, you cannot make in almost any airport of any size, you can't make your flight in 30 minutes. It has to be a super, super small airport for you to make your flight in 30 minutes. It's just can't get done. You can't get that done in any big airport.
Right.
Bro,
all right.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, had I been that way in my job, I would be fired faster than a dollar bill gets snatched off the stage in a strip club.
I don't know how y'all like that one for Auto Wheel, guys. That was a good one. That was a good one, right, guys? That was a good joke by Auto Wheel.
And Ray, in most large airports like Atlanta, Like you have to, it's an hour. Not you can't even check it. You have to go to the you can't check it at the machines. If you come in like 45 minutes, you have to go to a personal person so that they can check you in, because it has to be at least an hour to check in, to self check in.
Right. Yeah. The kiosk. Yep.
At least 2 hours before flight, you got to
I
show
try
up.
to do everything on my phone before I even get to the airport. You know what I'm saying? For the most part these days, you know what I'm saying?
And I was checking it 3 minutes. I was checking it 3 hours early in Italy, and I just barely made the flight, and that was 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah, 3 hours is the recommended international flight, and then for domestic, it's got to be at least 90 minutes. Actually, no, I still say 2 hours, but in Brazil they say 90 minutes.
And then be on TikTok made them get fired, says Night Jade, because they was on TikTok, and and like I said, probably hit World Star. The 2 female workers got fired. So all right, so Brooklyn Prophet said the 2 female workers that were involved got fired. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. Okay, right, all right. So he's talking to Kim Padmore. Let me see. They would be better suited to work at Waffle House. Now, and Ghost, what you got to add to this? What you feel about the video? Should they have been fired, Ghost?
Okay, so to the brother's point that spoke earlier about the attitude of the young ladies, to your point and to the young brother's point, I would have to disagree, because I would disagree on the suspension, and I would disagree that it was just the 2 girls, because the suspension, they can come back, and even though they're grown, they should be an adults. They can come back and, after they cause such a record, such a ruckus, as the old people say, and, come back and go back to work like nothing happened. So that's why I would say, no, I got to draw a line. The way they acted, and they just chose violence at that point, they definitely should have been fired. And the white guy, the only difference that he did, converse to the black women, was he was more passive, but he still was in the same alignment with the 2 black girls. The only thing that saved him, I feel, is his privilege.
Well, again, if we're trying to be fair, he should be gone too.
Well, that's what really fired too, because he sided with the 2 females that did not allow him on the plane. You think he should have just stayed out of it?
Not because he sided with them, because of his attitude and what
his attitude towards the customer. Okay, yeah. Because he did make a slick comment. He made a slick comment. You know what I mean? He did make us. I say suspended. I think being fired, that's kind of like, that's crazy. That's overkill to me, because that's like losing people. I think Frontier could have saved face by suspending them and said they have been suspended, and the story would have went away eventually, and they could have let them come back and work and make their money, put them through some more
in
training.
2 weeks it'll be over with.
Yeah, it'd be over. So, but I mean, to fire them, that's like, wow. I mean, that's like, I think that was much right there.
Had I done the same thing, man, I'd be out of the premises faster than when Uncle Phil threw Jazz out.
Yeah,
and Razor Ray, when you see a camera come out with a customer, you're supposed to change your. I mean, they filming you. Understand? I don't understand some of these young people. When you see a camera, you have to change up what you're doing. You can't. I mean, you're being recorded. So I mean, I don't know what's wrong with these people. When they see a camera, you can't commit crimes in front of a camera. You can't start acting crazy in front of a camera.
Exactly. People want to perform
for a reason.
You know why? Because people want to perform. They want to perform. They're not used to being in front of camera, so they want to. Our camera on. Let me perform. Let me go viral. Now you pretty much snitching on yourself, basically, when you do that. You know what I'm saying?
She didn't realize that.
You're supposed to do the opposite when that camera comes on, because now you're just telling on yourself. You know what I mean? But people want to perform for the views. And you went viral, but now you're fired.
But she didn't think that through fully, because she let her emotions make a decision for her future job references too. That's why if she don't think that other employers, are socially active as well, then she's mistaken.
Yeah, Frontier reimbursed them, says Brooklyn Prophet, and apologize. Those sisters must have not been divestors. Usually they been backwards for white zaddy, says the Brooklyn Prophet. Thank you for that.
Salute to the panel, man. Salute. Hey, I just want to interject and just say my 2 cents. I think both were in the wrong. But however, I think the workers were more wrong than the passenger. The reason is when you are a worker, you're kind of like you kind of represent the company. So anything you do like kind of represents the company. So when Spirit or whatever Frontier Airlines came out and say we fire those two, I think that was the best thing that they can do because this is an image problem. Frontier doesn't want to have a bad image, so I think rightfully that firing was right because I don't know if you guys work for companies. There's companies before you even work with them, they make you sign like some kind of disclaimer, have you read the code of conduct, and the code of some of the companies will have a code of conduct where it says a social media thing, anything you said can be used against you. So at the end of the day, when you're working for a company, you pretty much representing that company, and that's how it is. It's you're supposed to be professional. I think the worker, they rightfully were fired. I think the passenger, he should have known that for and TSA says this 2 hours before domestic flights and 3 hours before international flights. This is the standard. Like I just don't understand.
I agree
Like
100%.
yeah, I just don't understand why it's why they're making big deal out of this. Is it's I think the company they did the right thing. It's like they reimbursed them because they kind of were kind of afraid of some kind of lawsuit. So I kind of understand that where they're coming from.
I'm sorry for cutting you off,
What's
but
that?
you know the real problem. The problem is most workers don't have a business mindset. They have a working mindset. So, and then a lot of the young people, they're willing to crash out by any means. So that goes back to the camera effect. We living in a digital age, a virtual age, and everybody want to be seen. But then the girls feeling like, well, I'm being seen for the right reasons because what you're not going to do is check me. But that's street conversations. You save that for when you clock out. You know what I'm saying? When you on the clock, you are representing an entire business. If I'm the owner and I'm looking at that video, I'm not thinking about it in a sense of, oh, well, let me just take it easy. No, I'm thinking about my money. I'm thinking about everything that comes through there. I'm thinking about the casualties that monetarily that she's going to cause my future customers, as well as everything else. So, on a lower tier, once you put on that uniform, it's kind of like Batman and Robin. You need to go to work.
Also, I will add to it. You said on the clock. I would say it's off the clock too. You're still representing your company off the clock. So whatever you do off the clock, say for example, you get to a situation off the clock and the company finds out and people on social media finds out what you did and they report you to HR, you still get fired. So what I'm saying is like you still represent the company on and off the clock. At least when you work.
When I say off the clock, to be clear, I mean once you put on that uniform, you are representing the brand. You're representing the company. Now, what you do off the clock, I would hope that you would have enough sense to carry yourself with some decor. But, that kind of goes without saying.
When I signed my offer letter, it says you can be fired. Well, they also say the at will stuff too, but they also said these are the violations, whether it's on premises, off premises, and then in parentheses, off premises, they say that includes remote, social media, etc., etc.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Facts.
Gentlemen, she allowed that man to set her up. She allowed that man to set her up with the camera, and she didn't understand.
yeah,
She didn't strategize that
yeah,
that man set her up. When she saw the camera, she was supposed to back up and say, "Wait a minute, why are you taping me for?" But she played along, and she got caught up in the game because of her ego. She didn't allow herself to say, "Wait a minute, why am I being
yeah.
taped? I'm doing my job," and leave the
I
attitude
just,
alone. That's the same
yeah,
reason why sisters cannot travel like the brothers can travel, because they don't understand the consequences of what they do. They can do anything, and they get jacked up out there in these international streets
That's a
because the brothers
yeah.
already know how to act.
that's a fact because that goes back to the Jamaican situation. Y'all heard of that?
Now
When
I
the
heard
when the
about the device shit. That yeah, I heard about the device shit
No,
where
I never heard it.
these two sisters got into it with this local Dubai dude, and they were yelling at him. They thought they were in the States, and next thing you know, they put her ass for 2 months in jail for just talking back, yelling
Was
at the
that the
dude.
girl yelling at the she went to
That
she
was
was
the
a
trucker,
black
the
girl
lady
with
trucker,
glasses.
The trucker,
taxi
yeah,
trucker, something like that.
Okay.
yeah. So she thought she was like I said, it's like I think it's like even
And
overseas, you
she been
can't be
quiet ever
going
since she got
overseas
back from
acting.
Dubai.
See, Big Quiet, yeah.
Well,
Go
It
ahead,
Well,
go
just
ahead.
goes to show you. Yeah, I was gonna say this. Unless you're pretty much your own business owner, companies can fire you for any reason. You see what I'm saying? And if they caught you acting the fool, online, talking reckless, they can just fire your ass, and you can't do anything about it. I don't care if you hire a lawyer or anything like that.
No, Buck,
That's why.
not completely true. Not completely true. So
Go
you're
ahead.
talking about employment. You're talking about employment at will. So no, of course I had to use my name in there. So employment at will pretty much means you can be fired for a good reason, a bad reason, or no reason at all, but you cannot be fired for an illegal reason.
well, shout out to Trey and Brooklyn Profit. I gotta check that. I gotta search that video you talk about the Chinese restaurant owner. We got Travel Squad in the building. What up, Travel Squad? How you doing?
Boy, Tarjay, what's going on, Raze?
All good, man.
Panel.
All good.
what's going on?
Yeah,
I
man.
forgot
I
to
just wanted
say
to comment
Feliz
on that.
Dia das Mais.
I just wanted to comment on that video real quick, man. I think the girl took the bait. The minute he turned on that camera, see, the man knew that he was in the wrong. You can't show up that quick and expect to get on a flight. But the minute that he turned on that camera, I believe he did that. That was his get back. Like he knew something was going to happen. They shouldn't have done that, and now they're out of a job. But
Exactly. She got set up and she fell for the trap because as soon as he pulled it, he cannot check in 30 minutes before the park. He knew that. He knew he had to pay extra money. And he knew that he wasn't going to make the flight. And she gave him an attitude and he turned the camera on and she fell for it. Like
Yeah, but
a
Travel
Yeah.
Squad, you got denied a flight in Dominican Republic to Dominican Republic, 90 minutes. I see.
yeah, I was actually there, and I knew I was late. The rule is 2 hours, and I showed up 90 minutes late. And they're all about money, so they were professional about it. They just said, "Hey, you're too late." And what could I do?
90 minutes
Nothing.
late?
Yeah, I
Or
showed up an
90
hour and a
minutes,
half.
or 90
It's
minutes prior.
90 minutes before the flight was going to take off.
Okay.
The
Was
rule
that
is 2
Puerto
hours.
Plata or Punta Cana?
It was Santo Domingo.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah.
But I knew the rules, and I knew I was late. So what did I do? I didn't say nothing. Just buy another ticket, and it's nothing to cry about.
Yeah, he
Hey,
cried.
brother,
I was crying about it.
I was in Brazil and I went to the counter an hour and 45 minutes before departure. The ticket counter was closed. Everybody had left. It was nobody to check you in. Luckily, somebody helped me out. But it was actually closed. And they had the sign said 2 hours before departure. And nobody was there. The ticket counter was closed. So if you come late, sometimes you're just late. You gotta follow the rules.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, I had an instance
late,
where,
Yeah.
I had an instance where I actually arrived late. It was 20 minutes before the flight. One of the flight people, they worked something out, and I was able to just make it in time for my flight. So from that situation, I never repeated again because like now it's like if it's domestic, I'm doing 2 hours before. If it's international, I'm doing 3.
Yeah, your audio
You know, I
jacked up,
mean,
Buck.
You're breaking up,
unfortunately, he
brother.
kind of. I agree with Travis, but
Yo, what's up with the audio?
Yeah, your audio jacked up, Buck. Shout out to Chevy. Y'all acting like those like $25 to $40 hour jobs. That's like $15 to $19 hour job. Let's keep it 100. Yeah, I mean, but hey, it's better than $0 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Now it's $0 an hour. As they can get on some unemployment, right? Because they were fired, so they probably get on unemployment for a little bit. So they,
Raze, I gotta say, with that video and everything, I don't think that they're gonna get benefits for unemployment. That right there that's their evidence. They should have known better.
Oh yeah,
wow.
that's right. These days, a lot of employers are fighting off, are pushing back on people applying for unemployment.
But there was no physical confrontation. There was no fight. I get what you're saying. I mean, but
No, that right there is bad customer service skills, and they're not going to get benefits just off of that. And there's a video, so they did it to themselves. They shouldn't have done that. That was just bad customer service, and that's another reason why I don't like flying on some of those budget airlines, man. Everybody's always angry. The lines are always long. Just to each his own, but I personally don't do budget airlines, man. It's a headache.
If there's one budget airline I would make an exception to, it'd be Southwest.
Southwest? You know, I never flew Southwest.
Southwest there is a budget airline, but you're not gonna. But it's less of the Spirit. Well, I never flown Spirit. I've flown Frontier, so it's less of that.
Yeah,
when you fly in a budget airline, understand it's a budget airline. You're not going to get anything. Like you said, like Laser Red said, just expecting to try to get on the airplane and to get off. But anything else, any extras coming late, any kind of baggage, any kind of stuff, they're not going to do anything for you unless you pay. So if you're flying, but you have to have the mindset of, you're not going to get a hotel. You might be late. You might be a day or two late. Because you're flying a budget airline, so they're going to do things very cheaply. And that's what you have to have your mindset when you go. But you have people come to these budget airlines and expect to be treated like they're flying a premium airline. They expect to get service like that, and you're not going to get it.
You make sense.
You're not going to get it. So you have to have the mindset of, I don't expect anything. Just what time do I need to be there? What time do I need to leave? And probably I don't need to check in any bag, or I need to check for the bag, pay for the bags before I fly.
You're right.
And just follow their rules, and you'll be okay. But they be expecting a lot of stuff, and they're not going to get it from a cheap airline. You just ain't going to get it.
So the key maker in the building too, and our guy Born Ready, aka Royals Lawyer, was in the building. Salute, Born Ready. Yeah, man. It's like like I said, I had my issues with airlines, but not really airlines, but like I said, airport security and stuff. So that's basically my issues with going through the airports. But I can understand how some employees can be rude, and it could trigger a customer, especially if a customer is trying to make that flight. He needs to make that flight. He's stressed that he's gonna have to stay in that airport for another 4 or 5 hours to catch another flight. It can be stressful, I think they should have just been suspended and not fired, but the company thinks differently. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to add one more thing. I don't know, like with their company, even like with governments and everything, you could be fired for your behavior off the clock. Like, yeah. I've watched guys what I've worked with do things online, and then out of hate, somebody shows the video to HR. They're fired. That's it.
Right.
You got to be very careful about I'm very careful about what I do and what I say. And so what I'm saying is that they had that video and everybody's seen the video. Imagine what they're doing off the clock. They probably would have been fired anyway. They need to use that as a learning lesson. Social media can get you fired these days.
Yeah, he said they would have been fired anyway. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
As I said, when I signed that offer letter, it said, for any violation that you do on premises and off premises, and in the parentheses, they included remote work and social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're cracking
There's
down
a
on that
whole
social media because they want to make sure that they that they're represented in the highest, light. Because they know that the pushback of the court of public opinion is dangerous, and it's bad. It's just bad for the light on them. It's bad for business, and it's bad for their funds.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was gonna say
you know
the
what?
whole line on.
Now, don't get me
I
wrong.
was gonna say there's a whole line on Tinder about people getting fired from policemen to judges, lawyers to fast food workers making TikToks. There's a whole trend on TikTok about people getting fired for doing TikToks on the
Oh, yeah.
job, off the job. So you just have to stop. Just like that. You have to watch what you're doing when you're on social media. And like say, a lot of companies are watching what you're doing. It's open. You can't be talking about calling in sick to your job and then getting on Facebook. On the social media showing what you're doing. You just got to be careful what you do.
And again,
Always remember somebody's watching you.
Like I don't expect Ritz-Carlton treatment, from Spirit or Frontier, but it's got to be slightly better than the Galaxy Motel.
Yeah, well, hey, shout out to Delta One. Yeah.
Shout out to Galaxy.
The tow bar. Shout out to Vintage. Shout out to Vintage.
And I tell you what, you know what? Like when you're on the air, when you're with an airline, and you have to pay for water, you're probably on the wrong flight. they don't even serve water no more. A lot of these companies, you have to buy drinks now. They don't come down the aisle no more, and I can't do it, man. It's a headache.
That's why I stick to American, bro. I stick to American. That's like my number one right there. You know what I'm saying? If they give you that little mini snack, you touch down. That's it. I rock with it.
Yeah, like I said, I just want the plane to take off and land and not crash. That's all I really care about, to be honest with you. These days, you know what I'm saying? I mean, even back then, I just, that's my main goal, to land safely. Yeah.
And Raze, you brought up another subject as well, the black woman statue in New York.
Different topic.
Man.
But it's a totally different topic. But do you know why that's there? What is that about, real quick?
I don't feel that it's a positive connotation tied to it. I mean, they could have picked any other source or any other visual representation, but that's not really that's just as bad as the airline visual.
Yeah, I was like, maybe they put it out there for Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? But whatever.
Good point.
Yeah, maybe I
didn't think about that.
The Mother's Day.
Oh, that's a disrespect. That's a disrespect to black women on Mother's Day.
Correct. Because the artist said that is not anybody. It's just a representative of people. He has some other statues. It's just a bad, and the white woman who put it in New York, the director, it's just a bad example of what she could have put out there.
And that's
she would have been better off putting a picture.
A classic stereotype.
Yeah.
Awful.
A fat black woman with an attitude with her hands on her hips. And that just
think
shows
most times statues represent somebody who did something. Like put somebody out there who did something for black people. Put Coretta Scott King up there. Or put somebody else to represent black women. Not no overweight black woman with an attitude. It's a mockery. If they're laughing at us.
And in Egypt they started, when they said, well, the Greek study from them, but they said symbolism was the greatest, of wisdom on earth. And that's that right there. A lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people believe exactly what they see on TV and other ventures of the visual representations. So a lot of people don't think or stop and think, well, okay, well, this is just a perception. No, they really believe that's the truth. And somebody else has to come and break down that perception for, for that mistruth, and then that's the whole debacle with the statue in itself.
And let me talk about what Travel Squad and the other brother was saying about you have to be mindful of what you do off the clock with most of these jobs. Friend of mine worked for MTA, right? and somebody hit his motorcycle. He beat the guy up. This was off the clock, and MTA suspended him. And MTA got word of what happened, and they suspended him. So you got to be mindful of what you do off the clock, as well as while you're on the job. And social media gets you in a whole lot of trouble. I got in
And
trouble.
brother, the only
I
reason
could
why he
talk.
got his job back because he has a union. Otherwise, if he
Well,
wasn't,
he's suspended. He never lost the job. He's suspended.
yeah, but that's why he just got suspended because he has a
Right.
union.
Right. And me being a former New York City employee, you got to be mindful of everything you put on social media. I put something on social media one time while I was at work. I was doing some overtime, and I took a picture of my feet up on the desk saying "Easy Money Sunday." I could talk about it now that I'm retired, and that shit went through the job, and it went crazy. And they called me into the office because actually what happened, there was a chief in the department that I was friends with on Facebook, and he seen it, and he sent it to the chief of Manhattan, and they went crazy on that shit. I didn't get suspended, but they called me into the office and letter of warning and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's what I don't do,
you gotta
friends.
be
I don't do
mindful
no
of what
coworkers on social media. No, that's
yeah,
an
you gotta
absolute
be
no.
mindful. You gotta be mindful of what you put on social media.
And Spirit has among the safest track record, best on time performance. Look it up, says airport bound. Okay.
Let me
Okay.
let me talk about Spirit Airlines too.
All
That
right.
low budget airlines. Shout out to B Dub. I'll never fly them motherfuckers again. I took them motherfuckers from Charlotte to Newark. Flight was an hour, right? I get up to go use the bathroom. I come out of the bathroom. The stewardess says to me with her hands on her hips, shaking her head back and forth with a snotty attitude, "Did you flush the toilet?" I said, "What? What did you just say to me?" And I said the same thing that guy said in the video. I said, "I'm never flying this broke budget airline ever again in my life."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rude, bro. That was rude. Not on your behalf, but her behalf, because that ain't none of, you know what I'm saying? Like, do your job and then, relax.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Big Mike said they work for Frontier, but they actually were contract workers for a different company. So maybe they were placed there. So Frontier themselves didn't hire them. Well, I guess they hired them, but they were placed there by a agency.
And if you're working for a contract, it's easier to get rid of you, real easy. If you're a contract company.
Okay. So maybe the contract people like, look, we want to still be able to, post our people inside these airline, places. So we can't have that. So now it makes a little more sense about the firing instead of just suspension. I'm like, well, if they work for Frontier themselves, they should have been just suspended, basically. But if you say it's they contractors, yeah, the contract people probably like, nah, y'all gonna make us not get any contracts with these airlines. We can't, So I can see now. Now if this is true.
That's what I also meant when I said bad for future business, because a lot of those corporate offices and corporate entities have third parties working with them to place agents within the company that not necessarily with the standing company.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a whole nother subject in itself.
Because let's be honest, people are still gonna fly Frontier anyway because of the prices, the price point. So they're gonna get their customers because the price point. But that's all it is, suspend them and bring them back. But now a contractor, they're like, nah, y'all gonna make us lose contracts. So people not gonna want to hire our employees because our employees is perceived as rude and this and that. So yeah, like you said, well, airport bound, that is correct. Even white reviewers are getting banned from flights on international flights. They are losing money to YouTubers, says Vintage. Frontier offers free water. Just ask. I don't even remember if I had any free food on that Frontier airline. but
Hey,
I just wanted to land safely. Yeah, what's up?
hey, Razor, there's another budget airline that all of us do take. All of us in this travel community when we going down to South America, and that's Avianca. Even though Avianca is a part of United, they are kind of a lower tier airline.
Okay.
Yeah, and the brothers, if you don't expect anything from these budget airlines, you're going to be okay. Don't expect anything from them. Just
Right.
don't expect no kind of service. Don't expect to be treated nicely. They are a budget airline, so they're paying everybody at a budget price. You're not going to
Right.
get. You want premium, you have to pay for premium. It's as simple as going to the gas station. You want premium gas, you got to pay for it. You can't retire the regular gas and expect to get premium results, and that's what the problem is.
Check this out, brother. When I took that Avianca flight, I took it from Medellin to Cartagena. I sat in so-called what they call first class, in which I was in the front seat, bigger seat, reclining. You still got to pay for snacks and water.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Don't expect them from a budget airline. You just don't. If you don't, you'll be okay. If you do, and you don't get what you're thinking about, then you're going to be upset. You're not going to get that last minute going to the gate. You ain't going to get that, baggage service. You're not going to be able to put your bag on top. It's just a lot of stuff you're not going to get because you're not paying for it. You pay that extra money. You go to one of these Qatar, and they treat you super nice, but you're going to pay.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
hey, Razor, you took Copa before, right?
Copa. I was about to take Copa one time. You know what? I did. I took Copa and to Cartagena. My first ever trip to Cartagena, I took Copa. Yeah, and they refund policy was horrible. I was trying to switch my flight for a little bit, but they were like, I gotta pay $100 and something. I said, well, I'm going on today. So it was the same day I was trying to switch the flight. They're like, I gotta pay $199. I said, well, I guess I'll be hopping on that flight today then. So so I remember, that was the only time I took Copa.
Yeah, because I wanted to know, are they a little bit better than Avianca?
I mean, they charging. I mean, it landed. The flight landed, but
as long as it take off and it land, that's all you care about.
Crashing. Let's just say that it landed without crashing. Because all planes, but some crash land. But Drees TV, what up, Drees? So Drees is on his way to Lima. Y'all know Drees. Shout out to Drees. Well, some of y'all guys know.
He's back in Lima.
I'm gonna need that Lima review, Drees. I'm gonna need that Lima Peru review, Drees TV. Shout out to you and your channel. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Well,
I was gonna go ahead, Red Games.
Delta Airlines, which is supposed to be the premier airlines in America, right? Flew them to Atlanta. When that pilot landed that plane so that it hit the ground so hard, I actually thought we were crashing.
Yeah.
And that's Delta. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? Everybody on the plane was like, yo, we were strapped there holding, because he hit the ground hard, like bang. So like Razor said, long as it take off smooth and land smooth.
Yeah, I would have pissed my pants. I couldn't handle that, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that Copa is the equivalent of the Spirit Airlines of Latin America.
Well, I'm gonna say that's Avianca.
Avianca also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I'm going to East Asia soon, and I'm flying. What is it, Emirates? So I don't know if you guys heard about Emirates, but Emirates is like the top class of, as the other brother said, you pay what you get. So you get a quality service. But if I'm flying 18 hours plus, I'm gonna pay that extra cost, man. So yeah.
Well, coming out.
I was gonna say they're gonna do you. They're gonna do you. You'll probably be happy with your service and with everything they do because you're paying for it.
Well, flying out of New York into Colombia, as far as I see, our only alternative from Copa and Avianca is JetBlue, but that's with a layover in Fort Lauderdale. So if you want to catch that direct flight, you have to catch Avianca. You know what I'm saying? And but yeah, you can fly JetBlue, but it's gonna be a layover. Also, American Airlines is gonna be a layover.
Wait. So you guys, I'm confused. I thought they used to have a direct flight from New York to Bogota with either United or American. What
Right.
happened to that?
That's Bogota. But if you're flying into Medellin, then the only direct flight far as I see is Avianca. I haven't seen any others. I tried JetBlue. It was 45 minutes to a 2-hour layover in Fort Lauderdale. Same thing with American.
Yeah, as
Right.
you are correct, my brother. As of today, you know you can change tomorrow, but as of today, you're gonna have if you're gonna fly other than Avianca and in Copa, you're gonna have to stop in Miami or stop in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
Razor.
Now,
I'm sorry.
now
Razor,
the more popular Medellin becomes, JetBlue might have a direct flight there like they have going to Cartagena.
I mean, Delta just had a destination for Medellin right now, because you can get direct flight from Atlanta to Medellin right now with Delta.
Right,
You know,
you could
because
do it. You could do it from New York too, but that flight is going to stop in Atlanta, and then more people are going to get on that plane, or you're going to have to change planes rather, and
yeah.
it's going to be more people, and it's going to be direct from Atlanta to Medellin, but from JFK, it's going to stop in Atlanta.
Yeah, and y'all know that every day, you know, they're changing, adding flights different. So you just have to. It's a day by day thing. So today they might be flying. Next week Delta might not be flying there direct. So it's just you have to check pretty much every day that you want to go.
See, when I flew into like Peru, I stopped at Atlanta. Then from Atlanta to Lima, man, that flight was phenomenal, because I had the Delta Comfort. I paid that extra $200 for the Comfort Plus, and that it was a 10-hour flight, but man, it flew by so quick, because the seat, not only I had a Comfort Plus, but I had one of those seats. You know those seats in between the first class seats. You know those sections. They got a whole border where no seats is in front of you. I literally had, like, I could stretch my whole legs in front of me, like so. So I lucked out with that one. So, but yeah, I love Delta. Domestically, Delta's like number one.
I love Delta too. That's my number one. And even though we were flying JetBlue more, listen, my goal for Delta is to get that, not the first class seat, not Buck. You said what seat you had, Buck?
Well, Comfort Plus. It's
The
not a
Comfort
first.
Plus.
It's not a first
They
class,
got
but it's like in the middle.
they got one above the Comfort Plus. It's not first class. This is when you're flying to Brazil. They got one above where that seat totally reclines and the footrest come up.
Yeah, that's a business class.
The one above that flying into Brazil, that's the total lay down seat. That's the one you can go to sleep on that. It's like a bed.
Yeah, and
you said which airline was that?
That's Delta.
Delta, okay.
That statue got hypertension, says Vintage. I statue out there. That's funny. That's funny, Vintage. Shout out to you. That $2 donation.
Yeah, but that man, I was watching some Qatar and Emirates review, man. Some review videos, man. The females first of all, the females look good, and also the treatment you get is like this out of this world. It's like first class. So even if you don't have a first class seats, you still get like premium seat like treatment.
Yeah, like that Qatar and Emirates, you could be sitting in coach, and their coach is like first class for Delta and all of that.
And that's why it's like when I go to go back to East Asia again, because I'm going to Singapore, I'm gonna fly either Qatar or Emirates. I'm not doing no Delta, American, and all that, where they're because like that they usually have a secondary flight, to the local flight. So I don't want to do that. So I just want to take that direct flight from with either one of those.
Excuse me 1 second, brothers. Razor, let me know, signal me when you want me to start speaking.
Okay, you going to mute? All right.
Yeah, just let me know when you want me to speak on my behalf.
I got you. All right. And Raze, who better, Batista or Randy Orton? They're way off topic, but I never was a fan of neither one, but I did like Randy Orton's Viper gimmick for like a year. We first became the Viper, but I would choose Randy Orton over Batista overall, but neither one was my favorites. But if I had to choose, I'd choose Randy Orton Viper gimmick over Batista. All right, go ahead, guys.
Man, I liked it when whatchamacallit bust Batista's ass. Damn, what's his name? The dude who used to play for the Atlanta Falcons. Damn, what's his name?
Goldberg. Yeah. And real one.
Nobody thought that tackle could be done, but it went down.
Yeah, real one. For a superpower, America has some really low quality airlines. Well, I mean, over time, I mean, they try to improve, I guess. I mean, it's just over time. I mean,
they're the only ones out of the premium airlines. They're the only app that I don't have. I got JetBlue. I got the Delta app. I got United. Those are my three that I try to rock with all the time. And American is the only premium airline I don't have their app in my phone because they're pretty much the same as Spirit. They supposed to be a premium airline, but they're giving you budget service.
Okay. Night J, this is the problem with our community to us. Well, you paid for good service. You go to other cultures. Don't matter if this is a dollar store. You better be pleasant, says Night Jade. Okay. Copa, a good airline, says STC. I like that Panama flyover though. I'm gonna take advantage of that one day. They got that Panama layover.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna take advantage of that too.
Yeah, take advantage of that, man, because I think Panama City is only good for like 2-3 days at most. So if somebody's going to Brazil, they want to take a break in between. Panama is the spot.
So that's good. That's good. They got 1 to 5 nights. You could stay.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit has some good content on Panama on his old channel. This was before I got into the travel space. Tailor-Made Dreams. He has some real good content on Panama on his old channel. I guess that channel got demonetized or whatever, and he started up the new one. But he has some real good content on that channel.
Yeah. But with Panama is like Panama City reminds me of Miami City, South Beach. It's like you have all these buildings, like it's pretty much advanced. Like it's cool. I mean, they use the US dollar. It's kind of more expensive, more of an expensive side. So the cost of living is gonna be way higher than Colombia. The thing is over there, if you into their nightlife, there's going to be a lot of Colombian women and Venezuelan women, and to an extent, Cubans. In the spots, they're not going to have a lot of Panamanian women out there.
Yeah, Gaines, you mean JetSmart and not Avianca? Avianca is first tier. So JetSmart.
No, I never flew JetSmart. I seen their planes on the tarmac, and I actually saw, because I was thinking about flying from Medellin to Santo Domingo, and I saw that was a good flight on JetSmart. But I've never flown their airline before. Avianca is probably top tier for Colombia, but as far as our American standards, because their coach seats don't recline. Luckily, when I flew the 6-hour flight to Medellin, I had the whole row to myself. But if I had to share that row with 2 other people, man, listen, that would have been an uncomfortable flight.
Let me ask you something, brother. Is the flights, because this is just rumors for me. I've not gone yet, but is the flights from Medellin to like Santo Domingo or something like that? Is there any hidden fees or anything like that that people need to be worried about if they travel?
With Avianca?
Yeah, like not any specific flight, but just more so like standard. You know what I'm saying? As far as like,
No, there's no hidden fees.
okay,
They pretty
okay,
much tell you everything up front, whether you book through Expedia or on their site.
okay. Thank you, bro.
Because I book flights for people in my group. So when I booked my flight, I did it through Expedia. But when I did their flights, I did it through Avianca, and I saw everything was pretty much on point. Far as you get everything, your luggage, all of that, everything is included in that price that you're paying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, thank you
Like
for that information.
they have different tiers. Just like if you're booking with Delta or United, they got different tiers.
Bet, got you.
And if you're a United member, when you fly that Avianca flight, you can have your points transferred over to your United account.
Copa serves your food. Avianca does not. Melvin Riddle
Yeah.
said.
What you guys think about the credit cards that give the points for traveling?
Oh,
I
hell
think
yeah.
it's
Hell yeah. Right? Why you think I was going to DR so much? I had that JetBlue credit card. They said after the first $1,000, you get 60,000 points. Man, listen, I maxed that credit card out. And then when you book a JetBlue flight on that credit card, you get, I think it's 4 times points or some shit like that. Yeah. So I took so many free flights to DR. That's why I was going so much.
And Copa gets free meals. Spirit ain't doing that. Brian G. I've never had issues flying Spirit internationally, says the key maker. Floyd not flying on anything. Jack Black, I'm going to try Avianca business class next time I go to Medellin. No, Copa was dope. He said Copa was dope. Says Reed TV. He was one of Lima, Peru. Yeah.
And Lima's Peru, they put that spot on the map right now. I think International Zoo is out there, right?
Yeah.
You saw the chicks he had on there. They spoke English, so
yeah, International Zoo was out there. Definitely, yep.
And Raze. I remember what I told you. We're gonna cross that motorcycle community into the travel space. So you saw I went to the event yesterday. Everybody was saying, "Big Gans the lifestyle. Yo, we like what you're doing. We like what you're doing." You know what I'm saying? Yo, when you speak to Raze, tell them shout out, give them big up. This is all from the motorcycle community, Raze.
Oh, word. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
All
You
right.
got a lot of people in the motorcycle community watching what's going on.
Okay. All right. Good. That's great. Hey, more attention, the better. You know what I'm saying? Crossover.
Somebody in the chat said Costa Rica is cheaper than Panama. Nah, I think Costa Rica is more expensive, way more expensive than Panama. Panama is expensive, but it's like it's not as Costa Rica. I almost ran into a Rella situation because I underestimated Costa Rica. I thought, man, it was gonna be another budget Latin American country, man. That shit really humbled me quick, and I almost ran into a Rella situation. End up using my credit cards to get out of there. So just that was like years ago. I learned from that situation. So
okay. Well, I see the super chat. Well, Mike DZ's in the building. Jay Travel's in the building. Qatar better. Mike DZ. Shout out to Mike DZ. Salute Mike DZ.
That's what I was saying. It's like Qatar is better. It's like it's what they say is best in class. Then I think number 2 is Emirates.
Yes,
Number three is Singapore Airlines. I think I'm debating because since I'm going to Singapore, I'm debating if I want to fly with Qatar or Singapore Airlines, because Singapore Airlines is number 3 and Qatar is like number 1. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, United is cutting a lot of flights out of Newark. They having some issues out in Newark. You are right about that airport.
I think they got the what is it? Those air traffic controllers storage.
Yeah.
So you know,
Somebody had to be me. Delta One. Unruly Traveler. Salute to you, Unruly Traveler. Delta, the only airlines I take. Let me get to that super chat real quick. You said Panama is cheaper than Costa Rica.
I agree with
Now,
that. I agree with
yeah,
that
just
because
talk
I've been
about
to
Jaco
both.
Beach, you see, or San Jose, because some
No,
places in
because
Costa
I've
Rica.
been to San Jose, and it was like that shit was expensive as fuck. Panama's cheap. Well,
Okay.
like Panama's pretty decent. Like I mean, I wouldn't say it's cheap. It's decent. Like, but yeah.
Well, thank you for that virtual height 199 donation, Raze Travel Fund, birthday travel.
Where are you going to
Well,
next? Raze?
Yeah, it's still up in the air. I still got some time for the end of this month. The end of this month, we'll be breaking out of here. So, I'm a last minute type of guy. So we'll see over the next week. But
You still doing Peru?
I don't know. I mean, a couple of guys is going out to Peru right now. You see, Raze is going out there. My guy Brock Lesnar, he's going to be out there next week. So who knows? Maybe. It just depends on how long I'm going to stay. I don't know. Maybe I'll make an appearance in Peru while it's still it's not freezing cold, but it's jacket weather now. I seen Zoe wearing that jacket. So who knows?
It's their fall that's about to start right now, or the winter.
Yeah.
So it's about to get cold, but when it gets cold, it's only like it gets high 60s and low 40s. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. And shout out the visual height for that 199.
Oh man, I think Travel Squad bounce. If Travel Squad, if you still in the chat, if you got a second, come back up to the panel because I think he has some knowledge on Panama, and I want to know some top tier hotels that they in.
Yeah, he had to break out. He said in the back end. I seen it in the back chat. He said he had to break out. But Panama is my second home. You got to know how to move, and there are
Gotta know how to move.
Yeah, Panamanian woman is called Panama. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody said it's plenty of Panamanian women. Yeah, in Panama you'll get plenty of Panamanian women in Panama. Yeah, you would, Mike Deasy.
Is it that one dude? I think that one dude goes from Brooklyn. He goes to Panama a lot. What's his name? Is it
Branjour?
Yeah, he goes to Panama, and I think he's the one that got me into Panama. So yeah.
Hey Raze, remember I was asking you about him the other day. This is how these phones listen to what you're saying, because me and Raze was talking about Branjour the other day. All of a sudden he pops up on my Instagram. So I sent him a friend request, and he sent one back.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that, bro. The phones do be listening. Matter of fact, Apple had to settle a lawsuit. Just today I was reading this article. Apple had to settle a lawsuit stating that they actually do listen to people. The message is not private, so they do listen to people so they can market, the products. So
yeah, and I think I was on my iPhone on that stream. Right now I'm on my Galaxy, but I think last time I was on Razor's panel, I think I was on my iPhone.
Interesting. Airport bound, salute. Be careful. Sometimes tourist tax is not included in price of ticket to certain destinations. Gains you book through Expedia. Rookie. You gotta do.
No, I book through Expedia sometimes. Listen, I have all those. I have all the travel apps in my phone and the apps from the airlines. Depends on who's giving the better price. If I can get a better deal through Expedia for a Delta Airlines flight than I can on Delta, then I'll book it through Expedia.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I was asking. That's what I was asking you as far as I think it was a comment before Razor put up with the plane logo that said the tourist hidden fees things. What they were alluding to as far as the hidden fees. That's why I was confused about that, because on one side I'm hearing it's straightforward, and then on the other side I'm hearing there are tourist fees. So yeah, that's what I was confused about.
I stopped using credit cards 5 years ago, I guess. Highlander says, shout out to you, Highlander.
I mean, credit cards are very useful if you just pay it off like quickly. But if you constantly over the balance, it's like they're gonna hit you with the interest.
Costa Rica is cheaper, says Highlander. So
these
he
banks.
says Costa
You know,
Rica
so as
cheaper
long
than
as you're paying off the quickly, you good.
Costa Rica cheaper.
Now I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think Panama is cheaper between Costa Rica and Panama. Uh, Belize is one of the other places I've been, and it's just as expensive as Costa Rica. So
You
as,
pay more booking through Expedia
guys for the panel,
for Avianca.
yeah, like you guys do Expedia.
They would change your flight with no compensation. Your Buck, your audio going in and out.
.com or you guys do what you guys do.
Your audio going in and out, Buck. I never booked you a third-party service. They will change your flight with no compensation. Yeah, Buck audio was going in and out. Beware them damn motos, says the key maker. Yes, always remember.
What you do.
Yes.
What you do when you book through the third party, right? You take your flight number and everything, and you bring it over to the app for that airline, and you register it on that airline. That's how you do that to avoid any changes that they make. So now, even though I booked the flight through Expedia, my confirmation number and everything, I registered it with Avianca. So now it's actually like I booked it through Avianca, but I still booked it on Expedia.
Okay,
No,
Avianca
appreciate
did.
that.
It says Saint Nick, jolly old Saint Nick, and Frosted Flakes. They're great. Pop had 23,000 views on today live singing, and that's great. Hey, shout out to Pop. Congratulations to Pop for that. On that, out there inside Asia. Highlander 2006 Avianca has good deals for business class to Colombia from Miami. I have gotten round trip business class flights with Avianca from Miami for around $500. Here's a super chat from Highlander 199. Thank you for that. To the Raze Travel Fund for birthday. Korean and Singapore have the best business class. Okay. We get a couple of more super chats in. 199 once again from Highlander. Emirates and Qatar. Food menu is average. So he's not feeling the food menu on those two airlines. And visual hype with the 199 donation. Raze Travel Fund. Book through Skip Lag and Flight Scanner. Oh, now I be seeing Skip Lag. I don't think y'all really want to book the flight on Skip Lag. Maybe what you guys can do is look at Skip Lag, because Skip Lag, they tell you what airlines and what the stop is. So then you go to Skip Lag, and what you do is you go to if you want to skip lag, you go to the airline itself and book that flight that Skip Lag showed you. If you want to try to pull that off, and just y'all know heard about Skip Lagging, right?
Nah, I never heard of that.
I heard of
You know what? Yeah, I
flight
probably
scanner,
ain't gonna. Yeah, I ain't gonna really talk about it up here though. But Skip Lagging, is a way where basically you just exit the airport instead of taking the plane to the other. Let's say. How can I say? Yeah, I'll let you. I talk to y'all guys about that offline, whatever. But yeah, y'all Google Skip Lagging. But I went and booked that flight through skiplagged.com. But if y'all guys Google Skip Lag, what Skip Lagging is. But let's see. Highlander 199 donation. Salute to you once again. Cheapo Air is my go-to, then Expedia. All right. Cheapo Air is my go-to, then Expedia. Okay. Yeah, Cheapo Air is my go. Yeah, I use Expedia, but a lot of times I look. Yeah, you could use the search engines and just go to the airline website itself and just book it. That's the safest way to be able to get good customer service from the actual airline itself. You know what I'm saying? You can use those search engines, but once the search engines put what airline it is, so then you just go straight to the airline and book it through the airline. Yeah, so Polar Styles asked where the hell stories at. So anybody have some hell stories about been flying real quick before we break out of here? Any hell stories like trying to fly whatever on a plane or Like I said, I thought I was about to die flying United, leaving out of Bogota one time. So I got that video up. Let me see.
Raze, let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, ghost bags. Oh, for your. Well, you know what? Well, big games first. Do you have any horror stories flying, real quick?
No, I just want
No, I don't got no horror stories flying too much.
Oh, okay. How about big games?
just flying out of Puerto Rico. This was on JetBlue one time. I think we had a 5-6 hour delay. That's the only horror story I ever had.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, something was going on with the plane that was leaving New York, and it got delayed, and so we had a 5 hour delay coming from Puerto Rico. That's it.
And Tunnel Runner, that's that channel right there. Tunnel Runner channel. Click on his link and subscribe to his channel. Can't you get bagged for skip lagging? Can't you get banned for skip lagging? Yeah, I heard, but but hey, to each their own. Try to do that at your own risk. Skip lagging, Google it, and you can get cheaper deals like that if skip lag is basically booking a connecting flight where the middle leg is where you will basically get off. I guess okay if you have no check luggage. Yeah, you can't have no check luggage doing that. But you don't want to keep doing that from what I read because you could get they saying the airline could ban you, for that if you keep doing that. Let me see. Cheers from Sheldon the Blind Traveler with the 279 donation. Canadian. Cheers, salute my brother from Canada. Yes, shout out to you, Sheldon the Blind Traveler. Shout out to you and your channel. My guy Sheldon the Blind Traveler with that donation, Raze Travel Fund. Is Ghost the first passport bro to marry a John from the Sioux? I have no idea.
No,
Matter of fact.
no.
Well, no. Well,
It was
let me see.
it's dudes way before him that married chicks out of it. But this is back when, even though we know what it is, but this is back when it was better quality chicks in the suit.
Yeah, so I'm glad that y'all opened that up. We can.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Ghost. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and go.
So,
this is Ghost Bangs. This is his channel. Subscribe to Ghost Bangs channel. Go ahead.
I go by Ghost Bags. Y'all can follow me. I appreciate you having me up here today. Shout out to Big Gangs too. I've been traveling for some time now, but I'm not as I'm like Dominican Republic. I went there a couple times, and I got engaged in Sosua. So
engaged. All right.
Yeah, I got it definitely at the waterfront. And I had a couple of people asking questions and everything like that. And what I wanted to open up the floor in saying is, we're talking about. I'm glad we're talking about stereotypes today. I think that's the overall subject matter. Stereotypes from the statue to the workers and everything like that. And a lot of stereotypes tend to follow the gringos, aka African Americans, wherever we go in distant and foreign land. And I think there's a personality attached to that, or a stereotype that typically follows that a lot of Dominican women don't care for. You know what I mean? And I'm I want to be that kind of like a voice to say like, I understand like the complex nature that I told one brother one time, because he was like, oh, they all just this, they all just that, this, that, whatever. And I get I get that stereotype from that side as well. You know what I'm saying? From the guy looking at the girl. But then, but what we want to steer away from is just pure ignorance. You know what I mean? Like wherever you go, if you going to play, if you going down there, to have a little action or do whatever you want to do, still be mindful. I know it's a savage in all of us. I know it's dogs in all of us. If you really A-type personality, but you know what I'm saying, have some decorum when you go in these places, because whatever you do leaves with you, and you know, it stays over there, and it goes, you know what I'm saying, it goes, and they talk to each other, and that line, you know, whatever picture is being painted by the majority is what they're going to believe, and they truly believe this. You know what I'm saying? I've had a lot of you know, guys just call them oh, they this,
Working
they that,
girls
this.
for play. So you want to change the narrative about the girls in the suit being just called working girls or pay for play girls?
Yeah, my narrative that I want to change is, like, a lot of them, okay, a lot of them, they're stuck on the hamster wheel and they're fine with that. And if whatever they find with, okay, that's God bless them. But to bunch everybody as if to say that's I feel like that's the superiority complex that we bring over there is no better than how we treat it in America.
Well,
It's
Right.
like it's like the slave master saying, it's like how it's like we hypocrites in a sense, because how are we you know, how are we kind of held down in a sense economically and everything like that. You know, it's a few tokens, but for the majority, the pipeline is still what it was.
Well,
And we
so you hear this. So your channel is about, so on your channel, and I posted your channel link. Sub up to Ghost right here. Your channel is about telling people not to stereotype and not to, you know, prejudge and just you know, follow the peanut gallery. You know,
yeah, yeah.
you here to say, look, Dominican Republic, Sasua specifically, you engaged.
Hmm.
Not every female out there is bad for you. You know what I mean? You
Right.
can have a relationship in Sasua. You can get engaged. Now, so you just engaged. You're not married though yet.
No, I'm not married yet.
Okay, you're not
did
But
you
married.
yeah,
Yeah.
did you meet her in Sator?
yeah, I met her in Sasua.
Boy.
And the
Why you say that, big games? Why you say,
Now
oh
yeah,
boy?
let him finish talking, then I'll go into it.
Okay, all right.
you can ask me. Y'all, I'm open. You can ask me whatever questions you have. And
Well,
you
let
know,
me ask you this question. Did you see the video I did about 10 days ago with a friend of mine? He met his wife in Santo Domingo and married her. If you go to my channel, there's a video up about 10 days ago. I interviewed my friend. He's been going to Dominican Republic since 1999, and he met his wife, right? But
uh-huh.
what you're saying is, in this travel community, most of these guys in this travel community think that the whole country of Dominican Republic, that every woman there is a prostitute, which sounds totally asinine,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And if you can see, because a lot of people are watching NYC The Future right now, and you see he's failing in Santo Domingo, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Because those girls are turning him down left and right, because he's going with that Sasua mindset of,
exactly, exactly,
and he's failing, right? So
exactly.
not every woman in Dominican Republic is pay for play. And
Right.
you watch my video with my man Triple B, he's telling you. When he went to Sasua, he was like, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
And pretty much, if you, and he says this, and he's been saying it since day one I went to Sasua. He said, listen, if you're a tourist and you're visiting New York, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Manhattan, or do you want to go to Staten Island? Santo Domingo is Manhattan, Sasua is Staten Island, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna meet better quality in Santo Domingo than what you would meet in Sasua, and most of them, actually probably about 85% of them in Santo Domingo aren't pay for play.
Right. And I would add to that you know, just I welcome the pushback. I welcome the pushback because it's going to come. That's just like if you're trying to, you know, get people to see a different perspective. Of course, you know, you got to deal with the Pookies and Rays first. You know what I'm saying? They're going to come out, and then for the people that, you know, travel, you are familiar with this. I sat down in Bailey's one time, and this girl was just open. I don't know whether she was just venting, she just got tired, or she was just open that day. She just said, She said, "Yeah, I like how you carry it." I said, "You know, that's what's up." You know what I'm saying? Because I'm far from green, so I'm just letting her talk. She she say, "You know, a lot of gringos come down here with this attitude, you know, that we like garbage or in the ground." And I said, "Why you say that?" And she said, "You know, just look around. Just look around. They all got the same mentality. They all got the same mentality." I said, "Well, you know, don't you think that's pretty harsh? And don't you think you being hypocritical right now because you putting all of them in the basket?" And she was like, "That's 90." She was like, "That's 99%." She spoke good English too. She was like, "That's 99% of, you know what I'm saying, of what we are faced with down here. They're taking advantage of the economic system, and you know, all we trying to do is make a living."
Well,
And
it is Ghost
mhm.
Bags. How long have you been engaged to the Sasua girl or the woman?
Well,
Sasua woman.
yeah. So I got engaged in December.
December. Oh, so recently. So December, January,
Yeah.
February. All right. Okay. So, you think you're gonna go, or you know, through with it with the marriage?
Yeah, I'm going. You know, if God will, I'm going all the way. The thing that brought me more to her is because you know when I first met her, right? You know Tiki Wiki.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we know it now.
yeah, so Tiki Wiki is a lot of people call it the headquarters. You know what I'm saying, the office. So you know, I sat down there. We had a conversation. Now it was just fly by night because it was like I was just collecting, you know, talking and passing by because I'm already knowing how they coming and how they going. It was a random day. I was at my hotel, and she rode by on a motorcycle. She came and she, you know, hit the Yui, and we started talking. She was like, "You know, what brings you to Sasua?" I was like, "Well, you know, I for damn sure ain't looking for love. I ain't down
Okay.
here for no. I ain't down here for no none of that. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know, I graduated tech. I'm having fun. I'm trying to catch these beach vibes and live it up."
Okay.
And she was like, you know, okay, this, that, whatever. And it was like, you know, chords and stuff like that. And then we just went from there. And then as I grew to know her through conversations and her intellect, it was like, okay, because I'm a vet. I'm a vet you. You know what I'm saying? You know, all that talking sound nice, but anybody can sell wolf tickets. You know, but I sat back, kind of like spoke to her a little bit, got to know her some more, and I realized the history because when I first came down there, you know, it was like everybody was telling me, "Oh yeah, yeah, just you know, just bag them all up in one bag. They all the same. Just rock out like this." And like the people for the people that has not traveled yet, you already go to these places with perceived notions of who you're going to meet. You know what I'm saying? And they already, it's like the brothers, the OGs of the travel agencies or the, you know, the travel world, they kind of already paint that picture for you or that narrative for, you know what I'm saying? So when you touch down, you kind of already in motion of what's already spoken. So if you're saying like everybody is streetwalker, everybody this, everybody that, you already coming on, go, you know what I'm saying? You already on alert. You already knowing what you need to know. You ain't going for, you know, the small talk, the, hey, my mama refrigerator broke. Hey, you know, I'm sick. You ain't going for none of that. So you know what it is. But one thing that this girl stood out to me about is that, you know, um, the last guy she was dealing with was 9 years and he passed away. And she was a kept girl in her history. Um, but then, you know, she got children and the economics over there is poor. It's super poor. So, and not to say like every girl is in the slums because that's not true, but the economics is definitely challenging over there, and they don't have a safety net like America.
Right.
So what I did was I kept getting to know her, vibing and stuff like that. And it was a time like even when I lost my contract job, Like we spoke about that earlier. Like I lost my, contract job, and it would be months that I couldn't do nothing, like zero. You know what I'm saying? Motivate, stuck in there, good personality. Keeping God first. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, that's just the long game. Okay. But see, that goes back to the changing of the narrative. If you already have your mind concrete stuck on who someone is, that's no better than being on the plantation and them having their mindset about you.
Right. Well, hold on. So you trust this girl so enough, and did you move her to the States yet, or what's going on? Y'all living together?
No. I haven't taken that step yet, but I just wanted to I wanted to come in and virtual minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my boy too, and he told me, he said, yeah, start your channel, and you pretty sharp on this, so speak on this too, and just stand 10 toes on what you're saying, and that's what I'm doing. So if anyone come, it's gonna be a lot of ignorant brothers. Like I remember, I was stopped in the zoo one time, and this brother, he stopped me. He was like, "Hey man, I saw you went viral a couple times," and I was like, "Yeah man, you know what I'm saying? What's up?" And he was like, "Man," he said, a lot of guys, believe it or not, you know what I'm saying, in that situation, and then they have a lot of situations, but they don't say nothing. A lot of guys, in fear of social validity, they don't speak about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a peer pressure of the wolf pack. You know what I'm saying? They're not able to own, who they're with and who makes them happy. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my stance or whatever on you know what I'm saying, the Dominican Republic and the representation of that of Sosua, because most people are on that is the devil's playground. But you know what I'm saying, everybody there don't mean they was you know what I'm saying, just born in, like, oh, I'm loving this shit and I'm gonna stay here and I want to die in the same arena. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so just have a open mind about what you're doing.
Yeah, well, so this is a lesson for you guys. His channel is Ghost Bags. I dropped the channel link a few times. He's going to show you guys that you can find love in the Sosua. I'm quite sure she's a nice woman, and he's getting ready to marry this lady out there inside Sosua. If y'all go to Santo Domingo Airport, it is full of 8s to 10s, and they will certainly talk to an American brother who's serious, not BSing. Believe me, I know from experience. But obviously, right now you can go to the zoo also, Desmond, and find you something, because Ghost Bags is showing you guys that it is real, it is possible, and I hope it works out for you, Ghost Bags. You know what I'm saying? Now don't feel bad if y'all don't get married, but I think, don't feel bad, because people don't get married out here in the States. They be engaged and then they break off the marriage. You know what I'm saying? So
another thing too, Razor, the another few stereotype. The first thing, anything labeled just a Dominican woman, period. It don't have to be a certain location. The most comments you hear, if you ever take a Dominican woman serious, the most backlash you're going to hear, first off, is, okay, so they just need a green card. Okay, so they just, why are they with you? It's more of an investigation instead of what it is. When really, we're living in a more harvesting place. If you want to talk about corporate play to play, if you want to talk about the good girls paying to play, if you want to call one thing, let's say, for instance, a used car, right? Somebody gave me that analogy before. Are you with a certified used car? Are you with a used car over here? Are you picking the Honda, this, that, whatever? Okay. If that girl is not a virgin, she's used too. So what would you say to that? Because the odds of finding a virgin these days is like finding a unicorn with $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? The odds of finding a girl with no children, especially in her up, if she passed 25, I mean, they having them below that. But So I'm just asking for the people to use their brain cells before they speak, because anything sounds cool for the moment. You want to laugh and crack a joke and everything like that, but it ain't until you come across something different that, you know what I'm saying, challenges your mindset. You know what I'm saying, that make you say, okay, what's different about this? Let me do my due diligence, you know what I'm saying, not just on her, but her social surroundings. See what the elders say about it. See what the, you know what I'm saying, because if you think the bankers, the restaurant servers, the you know what I'm saying, if you think those are safe, then you got a lot to learn.
Well, Ghost, let me prepare you though. You know, you've probably been already catching these questions and these comments.
Yeah.
You say you're gonna do YouTube, and this is his channel. Now, I don't know if you're gonna be. You know, I didn't check out your channel yet. I just subscribed, and you guys subscribe to Ghost channel, please. Now I don't know if you put your female wife. Well, not my fault. The lady.
Yeah, I put her up.
You put her up there, so you know you're gonna get a lot of scrutiny about that. Are you prepared for that scrutiny?
I welcome it all. I welcome it.
Because you know the question. They're going like, hey, wait a minute. Maybe she was a mango. I don't know if you know the term mango.
I know what that is.
Was she a mango and Sasua? Now you don't have to tell me or nothing like that, but I'm saying you're going to get those questions about, you know, you were for mango and this and that.
She worked at the time. She worked that year. Remember, I said she was a kept woman. After her history was, you know, after her long, kind of like the relationship beforehand, he passed away. And when he passed away, she had to make a move. By that time, she already had children. And if you picking up and going with the rhythm of things, especially with, you know, maybe the lack of education, maybe the, you know what I'm saying, maybe the lack of choices or whatever have you, you know, you have to make a move. It don't stop. And again, they don't have that safety net. So,
okay.
So yeah, so you have to, like I said, you have to do your due diligence on who you're speaking with. You know what I'm saying? And know, and think to yourself, does this check out? Does this make sense? And for the brothers that have pushback and say, "Oh, I'll never do this. I'll never do this. I'll never do that." Okay, cool, but you know, that's like a man saying, "Hey, my girl that I went to college with, say for instance, right? It's more socially acceptable to say, oh yeah, my wife went with me to Harvard. I'm a graduate of Harvard, by the way.
All right.
Harvard Business School. So, you know, that's like somebody saying, hey, you know, it's more socially acceptable to say, yeah, my wife came through with me in college. And everybody like, oh, okay, yeah. And they just keep going about their day. You know what I'm saying? But who's to say the girl that you was in college with, you know what I'm saying, wasn't worse than the girl that was doing it. She got more of it in her than a girl that's actually doing it for her children.
Hey, all right. You talk about more bodies. You talk about more partners.
Yeah, she's doing way more activity than you won't even know. But the hood know.
So that's what you teach on your channel, right? This channel in the Polo Style said he subscribed, but he got to school you. You know, he going to school you. He subscribed to you, but he's going to school you.
Nah, he can't school me, man. I'm A-type personality all the way. Ain't nothing goofy about me. You gonna nothing.
You know, Ghost. You
might. Hold on.
What's
Rod,
up,
Rod, salute. Long time.
What's up, bro? How you guys doing? I'm gonna Ghost. You mind if I give you a little bit of pushback?
Yeah, you can give me pushback.
I'm gonna tell you. Look, listen. I look at it from a different perspective. I think brothers look at it a certain way. I'm an outsider. I'm a different ethnicity. I'm a minority as well. But here's the thing. I think the issue that exists that I think you guys, when I say you guys, I mean brothers have versus people of ethnic, like Asians or Middle Eastern or even whatever, Africans, because you have these different mindsets. What y'all have is like you guys come in, you're like, damn, we never seen this before. Because what do you have? You've only dealt with women in the US for the most part. Once you start dealing with women overseas, you don't know what type of dynamic you're dealing with. I'll give you an example. In Sisua, I think you said 85% of the women, I don't know who said this, somebody said this, 85% is pay for play. So what makes you think if it's 85% in Sisua, that means only 15% of the women are not pay for play, the ones you come in contact with. So people don't realize this, there's a trauma attached to women that work pay for play. They might be attractive, they might be a lot more feminine than American women, but dude, they've been touched by 50, 100 men. Does that not cause enough trauma? It's different for a man that sleeps with a lot of women. It's a different dynamic. But when a woman is, sleeping with all these men, there's a trauma attached to it. There has to be some type of healing. Otherwise, what you do is you start to hook up with this woman. She's attractive, she's hot, she's good looking, and then she talks to you very soft and shit. Maybe she'll cook you a meal, but then there's something behind all that. I'm telling you from people I've dealt with that have dated these women that have that history, and they think they're going to take I don't want to use the phrase on YouTube. You're getting monetized, right, Raze?
Yeah.
I'm not going to demonetize you, but I'll just use general terms. And you can't take a woman of the street and make her a wife, right? So really, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but do you know anybody that has and was successful with it?
By your definition, I think a lot of men wouldn't be married.
It's not that they won't be.
Hold on. I allowed you to speak. Let me go ahead.
Sure.
So the metrics and the analytics with that is global, and it's not just one location. By the way, if the guys that don't know or that travel, there's a lot of girls that travel from different locations. Sue just has the tag name associated with it. So don't just stop at one location and say, well, this is just the hot spot, you know what I'm saying, of the playground in itself. Like, no, like, and that goes back to any other country. The whole premise of it is, when you say, like, you can't turn one thing to the other, of course, especially if the mindset is associated with that, and what you allure to is cognitive dissonance. And that is also when somebody says, well, hey, like, this is what I know, this is what I believe, I'm on this hamster wheel, and I'm gonna die on this hamster wheel. And that's why you see a lot of women, you know what I'm saying, in their later years still, and they're perfectly okay with remaining on their hamster wheel of chasing that peso. You know what I'm saying? So it all starts in the mindset. That's why I say in the beginning you have to do your own due diligence.
Look, I have to disagree with you. I'm going to tell you why I disagree with you. Look, in certain cultures, when you marry a woman, first thing they tell you, I'll give you an example in our culture, right? My culture. When you marry a woman, you marry her for 4 reasons, right? Her looks, right? Her character. Maybe she comes from money. Maybe she comes from power. There's a few reasons why, right? It's highly encouraged you find a woman of good, sound character. Problem is, unfortunately, when a woman goes into a certain profession, she can go work at an empanada stand, or she can clean houses. She chooses to make a lot more money spreading her legs. Problem with that is there's a history attached to it, and then you're going to wife up that woman. I'm not telling you it's not possible, but I am telling you increase the odds of being unsuccessful. I know you have your own opinion of it, whether it's to Sue or Colombia or Brazil or anywhere else. Again, you can't take a woman of the street and make her a wife. And if you can, maybe you'll get lucky. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't have the data on it. I just know for a fact, anywhere when you're dealing with trauma, there has to be some type of healing involved, whether it's a woman of the street. And again, I'm telling you this from experience. I know people that have a woman of the street try to girlfriend them up, and she just secretively still working the streets, even though he's taking care of her. So I don't know. I mean, maybe you have a different perspective. I just know the odds are stacked against you. That's all. You don't have to go to Harvard to figure that one out.
Nah, that definitely don't take rocket science. You know what I'm saying? I respect your opinion, and I hear exactly what you're saying. That those guys are the Western poppies. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't we're not going that route. It's not to convey anyone to do what I'm doing. I'm my own man. I stand on my own principle. It's not to push a movement of, in support of doing what I did. This is my life. So what I'm simply saying is, don't go to any set location with your mind made up on what you'll see. Because if you have that, if you carry that, that is in fact ignorant.
How long you said you've been going to the zoo?
Couple years now.
What's a couple years?
4 or 5.
Okay. Ain't gonna dwell on it. To each his own though.
Yeah, I'm far from green, bro. That's why I said, like, I can answer the question just fine, but it's literally, that's why I said I make my points clear. You have to do your due diligence. It comes down to the mental, and a lot of girls do play games. A lot of girls are not trying to be off the street. You have one girl that have a Dominican boyfriend or a husband, and you in America thinking everything fine. I mean, it's a whole bunch of strings tied to that. The odds of finding someone with a difference in mentality and stance is the odds are stacked against you. But what I'm saying ultimately is, if you go into any place and you just assume like 100% is 100%, you are sadly mistaken, because this story is tied to, it's history tied to every participant.
Right. Well, here's the thing. You brought up a lot of good points. Here's what I would say if you want to increase your odds of success. This is going to be a little bit extreme for you, right? You want to increase the odds of success, I would say the African countries. Like Kenya, Uganda, these women were bred to be wives. I'm not saying that these women are not bred to be wives, but if, let's say, a Dominican man is not wifing up these women of the street, why is an American man coming in? I'll tell you why. He's not seeing an 8s, 9, I wouldn't even say they're 10s. If he were to compare to women in the US, this is going to be harsh, right? If you look at black women in the US, they're not as fit as these Dominican women, slim waist, big booties, right? For the most part, if you look at the data, I'm not an expert on it, but you know the data better than I do. If you compare an Afro-Dominican woman to, let's say, a black American woman, a majority of these Afro-Dominican women have slim waist, big booties. In the US, the women have let go of themselves. American women in general, whether they're black, white, or even Asian, it's irrelevant. They just eat a lot of fast food. They don't have time. They work just like every other man. So overall, they're going to be looking like a certain way. So Dominican, you have better odds of looks, better looking women. That's what you see first. And then everything else is secondary. They speak to you softer than women that are very masculine in the US. Women have been demasculated. It's incredible. It's like talking to a man when you talk to some of these women in the US. So it's better. I mean, my opinion of it, I don't even approach the women. I just avoid them altogether. I don't want to talk to a woman that's very masculine. So, you'll notice that there are differences when you start to go to these places, and who wants to deal with that? But overall, I think you're odd, you increase better looking women, but there's also some baggage that comes along with it. And then you'll bring them to the US, not realizing that baggage is still there. And then all of a sudden, you open a door that can't be closed. But you might get lucky. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. I just don't know a lot of guys that I know stories of people that brought their women to the US. So she got to the airport. She tells them, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And then she leaves and goes out the back door.
I've heard them too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's why I don't think like I said, like you're a rational brother, so I'm not like, I hear everything you're saying for sure, and I'm not a closed-minded individual at all. I listen, I take in. That's the whole point of analytics. That's the whole point. You have to take in the good and the bad. You have to view the whole board before you just make your assessment. You know what I mean?
Listen, I got to peel back the layers, right? Now, you said you've been going to the zoo for 5 years.
That's correct.
When did you meet this woman?
Like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, you met her in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Took the WhatsApp number, did communication, whatever. But it probably wasn't serious the first time. When you went back to the zoo 3 more times, did you see her out there? Without even reaching out.
That's not how it went. Well, I exchanged numbers, but I didn't talk to her for like a week or so. I stayed out there for like a month and 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that was after I graduated the tech school. So I literally was like coasting, because I say like I'm not in my mind is nowhere near anything. I'm just vibing.
Right.
And it was a random day, like I think it was like a week or some days later, I saw her come by because she's stationed in Sosua, but she's originally from San Juan. So when she came by, we spotted each other, and then the conversation started. And as the conversation started, you know what I'm saying, that's when everything kind of was set in motion. And then that's when the story began.
Right. But what I'm saying is, did you just go to Sosua maybe one time? Okay, let's say, you've been keeping in touch with her, but you never randomly just seen her in the zoo. She always knew that you were coming.
No. What I'm telling you is that the time period that I've stayed in there, I was there for like a month and some change. So it like I didn't come back, and by this time I had already started talking to her, and everything was set in motion. That's what I just said. So it was not like a come back, talk, see her over here, see her over there, and then move from there. That's not what happened. Not in this story.
Because what I'm saying is, because I've been to the zoo. I've been to the zoo a lot over the years, right? So, and as recently as of the past maybe 4 years, maybe since 2018, I only go down there once a year, and that's usually around Halloween. I used to go 2-3 times a year. Now I only go like since 2019, once a year around Halloween, right?
Yeah.
But every time I go out there, if I see the same women out there constantly, I don't want nothing to do with that chick because she's constantly there.
Yeah, because she on that hamster wheel. That's what I was talking about when the other brother was talking about as far as the probabilities. You know what I'm saying? That goes along with the percentage. That's what I meant when I say the mindset, because if she's continuously if she has no point of change, and I see what you're saying as far as, you got to come back out there, check and see if she's still on the hamster wheel. And if she's still on the hamster wheel, that's who she is. I understand that point. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that what I've done in my due diligence, I looked around and I took my time with it. And even when I left Dominican Republic, you know what I'm saying, I still was moving and shaking. Like, a lot of you guys don't know me, and that's cool. But you know what I'm saying, the people in the streets, they know me. So I understand what you're saying.
Let me say this. Now, we all know Dominican Republic is a poor country. Some of them got to do what they got to do, especially around Christmas. So you have some women that work in banks. They do real estate. I even met one that was a lawyer,
and
right?
Still busting it open.
They around a certain time of the year.
Yeah.
Christmas time, if you go to the zoo after Thanksgiving, you'll see a lot of women, especially if you go as many times as I have. Raze used to go a lot in the beginning, right? If you go there around Christmas time and you see certain women that you've never seen in Sosua before, and you talk to her, you get to know her, you ask her what she's doing, right? Because they're trying to get extra money to buy Christmas presents for
the
right?
kids, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to ask that woman, what is she doing for a living, right? If she ain't doing nothing during the day, or what she does is hair and nails, you know what I'm saying? She's not doing anything like real estate, working in a restaurant, working in a bank as a lawyer or anything. She just not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? She just waking up and that's the women you got to leave alone.
Yeah. But you know what I would say though,
But I'll
big
say
games?
this too, though. I'll say this too, Gage, because you're on the right track. But where I disagree is a lot. If you don't think the ones in the banks, the lawyers, the real estates are playing the same game, then you're mistaken. They playing the same game. They just put on their corporate hat when they go back to work.
Not saying that they're not playing the same game.
He's saying that during that period they might go ahead and start doing what the ladies.
Yeah, they're doing a little extra for Christmas, or
Yeah,
I get that point. But what I'm saying is, ultimately, they still got they got blood on their hands too. That's what I'm saying.
In what ways? In what ways? Can you elaborate?
Blood on their hands because they're in the same network. They still doing participating in the same game. That's what I mean. You can't. That's just like a part-time gangster. You know what I'm saying? As funny as it sounds, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter if you want to be part-time or not, you're still partaking in activities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do know the one that you're engaged to is participating in the game.
She is, but the reason why is because you know the average salary there, right? So if she's trying to get gifts for like 10 people, she can go and make, let's say, $500 and whatever to get those gifts. If she had a man, he just comes in and gives her the money. Let me tell you, I'll give you an example. I got this hot-looking Afro-Colombian girlfriend. This girl is, I would say, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, she'll be at 8.5 so that she gets in the gym 100%. It's like she's good looking. Problem is, she works a regular job. She's got a regular job. She's in sales, whatever. She eats a little bit crappy. So you know what I did? I'm not one of these suckers. But I said, you know what? How much is your gym membership? If I tell you guys what it is, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna be like, what? Cut $30 a month, if that, right? So I told her, go get yourself a gym membership and go use this money and go get yourself some clothes. But that's a girl that's she's a saleswoman. And now she's in the gym. You know what I just did for her? I helped progress her health, right? But that most men don't do that. These guys come in, they'd rather pay for it. If you got a nice looking girlfriend, upgrade your girlfriend. She might need to work out a little bit, tone up. And she'll be a solid 8.5. She's very good looking. If I send you a picture, you guys will be like, what the hell? But the point I'm getting at is that's what you do. You know, sometimes you got to get in the gym, nicer clothes. Dude, you take her from an 8.5 easy. You can be a solid 9 with a nice, on a good day, right? But overall, what I'm saying is that's what you do. You take a regular girl, you're gonna have to take care of her. Maybe she got a job, but she's probably responsible for taking care of her family. If she's taking care of her family, she can't go get a gym membership and go spend hundreds of dollars on this, that, and everything else. People don't realize that. But you're not gonna. The other thing you're gonna have is, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. She told me she was talking to a guy from France, or what was it, the US or France? He doesn't know the language, doesn't know the culture. She goes, I'm not even interested in all that. She goes, I'll take, I didn't even want to take his money if he offered me it, because these are the type of women you come across. They got some self-respect where they're like, no, I'm good, dude.
Exactly.
It's just, yeah. Exactly. So if you come across that, it's hard to find it, but if you find it, it's rare. But then,
that's what I mean when I say, like, if you speak to the average one, you're going to pretty much see the same spirit in a different body, the same mentality in a different body, the average one. But it's always, and charisma is one thing, talk game is another. But when it comes down to the history thereof, like I say, you really do your homework. Don't rely on nobody else. Don't go off, hearsay. Get down to the root of it.
Yeah, no, but I think where you're looking at, listen, I'm from Chicago, okay? It's like me going to the south and the west side of Chicago. I just increased the odds of getting hurt, right? It's the same when it comes to women. You go in an area where 85% of them, and no disrespect, I'm just being very frank, 85% of them, ladies of the street. Right. I know I'm going to get my hands dirty. Why? Because let's say Big Gaines, last year, he might have dated this woman, and I'm walking past Big Gaines, like, look at my woman. He's laughing at me. That's the worst feeling in the world. You gotta have some type of self.
I don't think Big Gaines will laugh. Big Gaines, would you laugh?
Hey, Ghostback. Hey, Ghostback. You I looked at your YouTube channel to see if I know her.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yo,
I don't know her, but like I said, I don't
Yeah,
go to the
I
same
know,
often as I used to.
because she's in Sasua. You should be able to you spot her.
Now, wait, she's in Sasua now?
Yeah, she's in Sasua now.
Okay.
So that's just like if somebody come by and say, "Hey, you know, I got a picture, or I seen this, or I seen her talking." Bro, like if someone is in a location, they live in that location. You can
Oh,
gain
she lives in Sasua.
huh?
Oh, okay. That's kind of different. I mean, it's a catch-22 there. She lives there, so it's not like she's going there purposely to work.
But see, that's the part. That's also different part of the puzzle. But like I say, like in the beginning, I'm not. The probability is against a lot of brothers. You know what I'm saying? We know that. But to the other brother, I wanted to respond to him. Um, what I would say is, and this is just my train of thought. Nobody has to agree. When I look around the world, not just, you know what I'm saying, the African continent, not America, Western, you know, none of that. It's literally the world. A lot of other countries are trying to mimic the Western society. A lot of the girls in the Western society are already lost. And we are living in one of the highest, you trying to have a monetized YouTube. So I say the highest pro mindset ever in the history of mankind. And no shame with it attached to it. It don't matter if she's from the church, she's from college, if she a regular girl, if she stayed under her father her whole life, the mindset has taken over like the zombie apocalypse.
Well,
So I get where people can say like where he said like, hey, I have a higher chance of going in this neighborhood. That's just like saying that's kind of similar to saying, you know, if a black man is walking down the sidewalk and then, you know, the other party crossed the street because they already have a preconceived notion that something
Preconceived
terrible is
notion,
going to
right?
happen.
well, let
Right.
me say this real quick to the chat. If you take away the welfare and the Section 8 and the SNAP benefits in America, you're gonna see how many women in America will start busting it wide open.
Well,
Exactly.
you know what? To add on
Exactly. That's
to
why I said earlier about
yeah,
the safety net because
right.
they don't got it. So that's why I said some of them are forced to make decisions regardless if they want to or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Well, let me say this to big gains. You know, big gains, when Venezuela was, their economy was destabilized, right? And all that, we know what happened in Venezuela. 9 million Venezuelans left the country, 9 million. What percentage are women? Some of them are in Colombia. You don't think
Like,
they're now living in a status or in a situation where it's survival? I've come across some hot Venezuelan women who are in Colombia, for example, and they're dealing with trying to survive in somebody else's country. So there's now you're dealing with a woman. When she was in Venezuela, she never did the pay for play, but now she's in Colombia doing pay for play. So what you said is accurate, big gains. But here's the thing: you're going to have to figure out, okay, well, let's say, like you said, you take away SNAP benefits, everything else. You might have to pack up and leave the country. You don't stay in the country and force yourself into doing certain type of jobs. And here's the thing: it's not like these women have to do those jobs. They can go get a job and all live in like a studio apartment, even though they're living on top of each other. They go to their job sweeping the floor and keeping their dignity. It happens all the time in the Middle East and Africa and even other Latin American countries. They don't have to sell themselves; they choose to.
Yeah, but you say that with a sense of luxury, like they are like everybody's situation, they can just pick up and
Correct. I get it.
and that's not true.
Right.
That's like saying what about the cases where the mother is down, she's gone, the father's gone, she has to make a way, she's working in the fields, and now she's coming from the fields to the stores, and now she's just trying to make a better living for her and her children. And everybody around the city, that's just like the point of saying when all the brothers say, hey, when you want pleasure, you go to this city. When you want, it's a known fact. When you go over here, this is what you're looking for. If you're looking for a museum, you go to this city. You know, so if everybody have their already preconceived spots or locations for traveling, then you know people know what they're going to that spot for. But when you but somebody could say, okay, well, let's say you go to a museum and you say, well, I know this girl working in the museum don't have no type of she don't have that same type of spirit in her that the girls in the other location in the hot spot has. But when you get to know her spirit just the same, if not worse. So it's a mindset.
Right.
Right. And, well, with Django, shout out to you, Django, with the $2 makes sense. But what if you traveling on donations? Thank you for that $2 donation, Raze Travel Fund. I'm in Sasua right now. Cab no limit. Travel Squad is still in the building. I've never heard a Brazilian say I'm Afro-Brazilian or a Colombian. Where is he from? Appreciate it, dog. That's mid.
Well, no, they don't say that, but I mean they do, but they don't. Depends on what part of the country you're in, first of all. But when we say Afro-Colombian, the only reason we say that is because we're outsiders, right? So if you're dating a Colombian woman that's Black, she's considered Afro-Colombian. The only reason we share it among each other is we're just having a conversation. But if I was in Colombia, the last thing I would say, hey, sweetie, are you an Afro-Colombian? No, it's for the sake of the conversation. That's all.
And,
See,
and you know another thing, I would say this too. A lot of the brothers are unaware, God bless them. A lot of the Dominicans don't even care for you.
Right.
A lot of them don't even like blacks.
Right, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, this whole superior mindset, bro. I'm just telling you, like, if you a rookie,
they don't even identify as Black.
If you a rookie, if you a green, God bless you. If you just think, you know, it's just the world works one way, and you laugh it off and go about your day, God bless you too. But the same women that you think you superior, then they think they superior than you, and they in the lowest estate.
Truth be told, I mean, you said something that's valid. First of all, if they were to compare a Black American man to a Dominican man, first of all, the first thing they would say, they wouldn't even say you're African American. They'd be like, yeah, he's a Black American. When they say that, it automatically places you on a pedestal because they know you're dealing with dollars and you come from the first world. Whereas these Dominican men, they're not dealing with dollars, they're dealing with pesos. And they, you know, at the end of the day, like you said, they're trying to live a certain lifestyle. The Dominican man may not be able to provide it. They want their own men. Who doesn't want their own men? Black American women want Black men. But the problem is it's a totally different dynamic. I don't know it 100%. But over there in Dominican Republic, they would prefer their own men, but these guys don't bring in anything to the table other than, you know, being Dominican men. And whereas they're looking for that financial security or even wanting to leave the country. You'll see, like, I'm talking to a few Venezuelans, women, young, in their 20s, right? They're always saying, oh, I want to leave the country. And then you ask them, where do you want to leave to? They want to come to the U.S. That's a red flag for me. Because, I mean, you know, the U.S. is, you know, it's a red flag for me because automatically, what's the first thing that comes to mind? She's not only looking for financial security, she's looking for a way out of her situation.
Exactly. Bingo.
All right.
I would say also, too, that if the girl says she would rather stay in her country, now you have to reevaluate the whole situation because she's looking at you like, man, I don't care about no green. That's far from what I'm thinking. I just want stability.
Well, you know, I'll tell you what's very common. They normally have a local boyfriend, Dominican, Colombian, and they're wanting you to send payments every month. I know many stories about this. I know a story of a guy, the girl's with their boyfriend. He says, I'm going to go get the motorcycle. She's talking to an American on speaker. And then, like, I know of this story, and she's calling him love and everything else. He's like, love, you know, I need you to send me $600. He sends the money Western Union. Next thing you know, she's jumping on the back of the motorcycle with her local boyfriend. And they're going to enjoy. This is very common. What does she want to do? Let's be honest. What does she want with an American? What do you bring into the table other than money? Charm? Game?
Wait, hold on.
Let me tell you, have y'all heard of this lady named Cerise Fairfax?
Yes,
Yep.
I heard Cerise
Bro,
Fairfax.
y'all gotta tap in because some of the stories will blow your mind. That's why I say, like, if you're not really doing your full due diligence, I mean, it's gonna be against you anywhere you go.
What's the name again?
Cerise. It's about the white lady out from that YouTube's out there. You know, she does. You know, shows real estate and apartments.
Story time and everything.
She's been in the store for a long time.
But
Super long time.
Hold on, guys. Let me get to Roll the Tape comment. Shout out to Roll the Tape, the icon. He says,
Oh,
I
what he
think
said?
that's the girl they used to call Scooter Girl, Axe Ghost. So shout out to Roll the Tape, my guy Roll the Tape, the icon in the travel space. Shout out to him and his channel. Him and Drees TV used to be a tag team, but on this travel space doing their shows. But so I'm on your page, Ghost Bags. I see the proposal. You had the proposal video on your channel. Matter of fact, I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna drop that link, guys, and subscribe to Ghost Bags channel. I'm gonna drop this proposal video. This is the girl from the zoo. Now, you know anything about Scooter Girl? They said Scooter Girl.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, so I just asked them Roll the Tape. I'm looking at the video of the proposal right now. I'm going to drop the link of the proposal. You guys can go over there before I break out of here. You can go to his channel and take a look at that video. And so give him a sub, though, too. Give him a sub. This is Ghost. This is Ghost right there. This is the video of the proposal in the zoo. So you guys want to check it out, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Give him a sub.
He was right over there at the waterfront, Playa Alicia.
Yeah, the waterfront. And also, I have more videos and everything like that. Virtual Minister will be speaking on this soon, but I got more videos and everything like that. So, you know, it's just not only just a traveling experience, but just make people. I'll let people have their own conclusion on what they think about the movie.
Yeah, because I mean, just because I don't know her, there's plenty of guys that been going to the zoo just as long as me and longer, just like Roll the Tape and those guys that just might know her.
Yeah, but see, you know what I would say to that? The same thing that I would say to an American woman, that if she fucked 100 guys before I knew her, it's the same thing. She just ain't got no time. She just ain't known about it.
You got a valid, both of you guys got a valid argument. But here's the thing, though. But the fact of the matter is, some of these guys said this before. 85% of the women in the zoo that you see, they're slightly attractive in a certain area. High probability she's there to be doing pay for play. So, I mean, unless you're going to meet her outside of those areas, you know, I mean, how do you know that's not the case? You know, I'm not saying that is.
My ultimate message of what I'm saying is, hoes are everywhere, respectfully.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what the title, and some of them are more on demon time than the next.
Sure. So,
to me, having the ideology or the thought process to say that, okay, if I go to this location, it's more than that location, or less than this location. Sure. That makes me a little ignorant.
Right.
Well, hold on, guys. Well, Roll the Tape has confirmed that's Scooter Girl. That's somebody named Scooter Girl. Now, well, I don't know if you really, care about this.
You got to go further down in the chat, right?
I know. He said. No, well, I'm not going to put that up there, but he can read. He can read the chat, but maybe he doesn't care. It's Scooter Girl. They confirmed that it's Scooter Girl, Ghost. But I don't know the history of Scooter Girl. Now you see people in the chat is posting about Scooter Girl, but that's one of the dangers of doing
the girl.
All of that comes with it. That's the same. That's the same like. If you have a regular girl and somebody said, well, hey, I know this girl. It's the same concept. The only difference is we harp on it because of the location.
Listen, Ghost, I'm going to be very honest. I see the video. She's very good looking. Your woman, scale of 1 to 10, I say she's a solid 9. She got a nice body, very pretty face. So when are you guys getting married?
We're still figuring that part out. I'll
Very
let my
attractive. I'll be honest
panel
with
know
you.
though for sure.
Now, let me ask you this. Let's be frank with each other. Would you be able to pull something like this in the U.S.?
I've had exes. If you see my ex, you'll see the same thing. Like I said, like I don't have no problem. Not an ugly brother. I don't have no problem.
Yeah.
You know, in the ladies department. Like I said, when I first came down there, if you listen to the story, I wasn't down there for love.
Right.
And I told her that to her face.
Okay.
And she was like, and you know, she always laugh about that now. Like, yeah, you remember you said you wasn't down here for love. I said, yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? But life is tricky. So, you know, that's how that happened. So it wasn't like a hunt.
So what you're saying is, before you got there, you were Denzel Washington.
Well, I wouldn't go that far now. Denzel is definitely an icon and top of his
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I like to believe it. I'm going to be very honest. I like to believe it. I'm going to have to look at some of your other videos. Not that you have to prove anything. I'm just saying a lot of times people like to sell a dream. Most people that sell a dream are full of crap. That's why
I said in the beginning, I'm not here to convey anyone. I'm just here to say a message.
Sure.
You know what the person takes away from the message is their own.
Hey, Travel Squad, it's Mother's Day, Travel Squad. That's why, you know what I'm saying? It's Mother's Day. So people are more in a good spirited mood right now. So they being nice. You know,
I ain't in no good spirited mood, Raze, because the restaurant I wanted to order some food from said they're not taking any orders right now.
Uh-oh.
They said call back at 7 o'clock. Yeah. I ain't in the mood.
Django, $5. These guys are right. Most Dominicans are anything but black. You got to give them ladies credit. They can differentiate love and lust and young. Okay, so okay. Well, thank you for that $5, Django, to the Raze Travel Fund. I appreciate you for that.
You know what? I want to say this too, Raze. It was a girl on who was it? Panel. The NYC dude, the NYC Future or something.
NYC the Future. Online.
It was a Dominican girl from Santo Domingo on his live the other night, and she confirmed. She said they'll never date a guy. She always asks the guys, have they ever been to the zoo? And if they ever confirm they have, then she won't date them. She said, now if you lie to me, that's fine. But then they said, well, what is your like, what's your sexuality? She said she bisexual.
Okay.
In the same stream, because I think I was watching it too.
Oh, you seen her too?
No, I'm talking about the future.
Well, Jacob. Well, Roller Tape says ghost. Man, as long as you love it. But bro, she a Sasua staple, long time. So you like, look, she a Sasua staple, been out there a long time, says Roller Tape. But he said, hey, but as long as you love it, I guess you saying, so you pretty much saying you don't care.
Yeah, you gotta the only one that's gonna be in that's literally gotta live with this decision is me.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes the same thing for every other man. Because right now, most men, believe it or not, most men are in my position. They just won't say it. They will refuse. They'll deny it until Jesus comes back. You know what I'm saying? And they know their circumstance, but they won't tell it.
It goes. All of us that have been to the zoo have a chick that we deal with. That, you know what I'm saying? If we go down there, we'll holler at her or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So most of us that have been there we got women that we deal with out there. You know what I'm saying?
So I put it like this: anybody, because a lot of people feel like they put it to the challenge, or there's just that space. I implore anybody: if you see her, she's on my page. If you see her, try to holler at her. I implore you. See, I'm different. I'm different.
Okay.
Listen, you shouldn't be putting that challenge out there. You got 100-some people.
Listen. I had somebody last week try to offer 10 bands.
Okay. Oh, really?
So do it. So I mean, that's what I'm different, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm not one of these guys up here like, oh my God, she may not. No, do it.
Okay.
Put on your best hunter's cap.
So can I ask you? I'm not going to be disrespectful about this. I just want to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it.
Yeah.
Do you know her history? You know what she did
That's what I said earlier in the story. That's why I said
I didn't hear that part of it. Can you go ahead?
Well, her history was, that's what I was saying, from the fields to the stores.
Yeah.
To the to the like decade-long relationship, and then she had to make a decision.
Okay.
So that's why I said, like, the history. That's why I said you got to fully do everything. Don't just take it from her.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go around, meet the family, talk to talk to everybody, see if everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're okay if you're beyond the history, right? You don't really care. You're like, hey, I'm taking it today and moving forward. Forget about the history. That doesn't bother you, right?
No, it doesn't bother me because I look at it the same way. Like, I look at it the same way as if somebody said, just because I went as far as I went in education, I can't talk to a girl that got a 5th grade education or 8th grade education.
Right.
So I think a lot of people lose out on a good thing by perceptions and stereotypes.
Fair enough. I think,
like I said, it's a lot of women, because you said she lives out there. So it's a lot of women that live in that Sosua, Puerto Plata area that you'll never see over on Pedro Casante. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a catch-22, but then again, we saw a roll of tape said. So we take it for what it's worth.
I think you got a valid argument. I'm going to tell you why. The average American.
I put out a video in October, and I said in the video, listen, don't come out here looking for a wife because you ain't gonna find one.
Right. Look, he's got a valid argument, though. I'll tell you where I think he's got a valid. This is my opinion. Listen, American women, if you were to look at the amount of partners they have before you, let's say, wife them up, they might have more partners than, let's say, somebody we automatically assume had a lot of partners. I think the only dilemma is if a woman was, not her, I'm sorry, if a woman in general was a pay for play, you're not going to know the amount of partners she had. But if you do the math, and I was doing the math recently, I said to myself, let's say you have a woman that sleeps with 2 to 4 men a day, 5 days a week. We'll use a small number, 1 to 2 men a day. We'll say even 1 man a day. That's 20 times a month, right? Say she did that profession for a year. 20 times 10 is 200. Another 2 months, that's 240. This is 1 man a day. If she's worked in that profession for 1 year, 5 days a week, with only 1 man, it comes out to, what did I say, 240 partners in 1 year. Might be the same partner, might not be. That's what I mean. That's exactly that. That's where I think the line has to be drawn in the sand, where you say to yourself, okay, man, I think she's beautiful, she's feminine, everything else, but I need to start investing in her. I don't know. Maybe she's got to change her mindset. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I know there's some. I know a guy that dated a Venezuelan, very attractive Afro-Venezuelan woman. And why she's Afro, I bring that up because he was black, she's black, right? And he's thinking to himself, she's just another black woman. She's Venezuelan. And he thought that way. I said, dude, do you know her history? Found out her history. She's beautiful, but she's got the trauma attached to her profession. So even though he's taking care of her, she goes missing in action with this guy, where she doesn't respond to him for 6 to 8 hours. I'm going to be very honest with you. First thought I have is she's still working the street, like still has her clients on the side, even though this guy's financing her. He's taking.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to point out to him, because he said, go out there and try and holler at her. Guess what? She be in Player or Supermarket, right? I approach her, right? She probably going to turn me down, but that doesn't mean she's not working. She probably got enough clientele in her lineup that she don't have to work the street no more.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I say it's always probabilities. You can't, for you to assume, and that doesn't go for one profession. That goes to the regular, the corporate, whatever your girl stems from. For you to assume that there's no probability or possibility thereof is ignorance in itself too. So to have that mindset mean you a rookie.
Right.
That's what
Because
I'm saying. That's what I'm
when
saying. So I'm just talking to y'all, and I'm like, bro, like everything that you thinking about, bro, I've thought about. I'm there.
because listen, when I go out there and you'll hear me talk on these streams, I very rarely take a girl from off, out of Bailey's, out of Rumbles or whatever, unless I see something out there that I've never seen, and I don't even go out there as much no more. So it's not being that she probably not working out there, but let's say if I go up in Rumble or Bailey's and I seen a girl that's drop dead bad as a mother, you know what I'm saying? Then I'll
Yeah.
holler. But for the most part, when I go out there, I got chicks in Santo Domingo or whatever, and I'll call them up. Listen, I'm Mr. Seward. I'll give you the bus fare. Hop on the bus. Come on over. Come chill with me.
Already in rotation.
That's how I move out there. But that's not to say that she's not working. She just don't come to the Soo no more. She got her lineup.
Right. Yeah, no, she keeps the phone numbers and they just keep WhatsApping. Listen, I told you
And
about
some
this.
of the girls in Santo Domingo, they don't even they don't go back to the Soo. They stay in Santo Domingo, but they still got clientele.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
are they going to turn them down?
interchangeable. It's interchangeable.
It happens all the time, man. Listen, a buddy of mine was telling me he went to one of these businesses, right, for these women. He said the woman was telling him she's married to an American. He's got her visa and everything coming while she's working the same profession. He's sending her money and everything else. This is very common. Even though you're financing everything above and beyond, she's still going to work on the side, take that extra money, maybe put it on the side, you name it. It's very common. Even though you're financing these women, like the money you send them is what a doctor would make in their country, which is a lot of money. They'll still work the side with these guys. I can tell you story after story, man. And these are good, very good looking women and young. One of them was telling a buddy of mine, Black American from Atlanta, says to me, he goes, man, I don't know about this. He said, look at this picture. What do you think? He sends me a picture. She's out on this finca farm on a Saturday, supposedly with her family, playing bingo. Give me a fucking break, dude. Some guy told her, come on down for a whole night. He financed it the whole night. My buddy didn't know how to take it. He thought she's going to play bingo on a farm with her family. Dude, she comes from a working class background. It's like somebody from the hood hanging out in, I don't know, Staten Island or something. I don't know, a good area. Dude, it doesn't happen like that. So these women, they look at it like I could make a lot of money with this one client she's had. She still has her boyfriend telling them more and love and everything else. Dude, that does a lot to your spirit as a man. You can be the most confident man, secure with yourself, but that's just how it is. That's the nature of the game. You don't understand that. That's just how it is.
All right, hold on. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me get the super chat. I'm about to end this stream. I'm gonna come back live later on tonight, but let me read this first. Roll the tape. The icon. Roll the tape. Damn good content. It is. This is crazy. Imagine taking her home to mom. Man. Well, knowing what you know now, and subscribe to Roll the Tapes channel. He's been kind of absent from YouTube for a while, but the icon right here. Thank you for that $10 bomb. Raze Travel Fund for my birthday this month. My guy Roll the Tape. Would you take her home to your mama? Ghost, but you are going to if you're going to marry her, you know. Well, but would your mama know her history? That's the bigger, because you could take her home. He could take a home, Roll the Tape, but would his mother know her history out there inside the Soo?
Hey, Ghost, are you from New York?
No, go ahead. Answer
No,
that.
I'm originally from New Haven, Connecticut.
Go ahead, answer that, Ghost. Would your mother know her history?
Yeah, she would have to. But see, you have to, but at the same time, you would have to come from, I would say, a judgmental family, you know what I'm saying, to have like that pushback. And one thing that I would say, and I always said this, because I heard this coming up as a kid, but it ain't really stick until I got older as a man. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather said, Jesus didn't hang with the church folks. He wasn't rocking in the pulpit and stuff with the people, you know, in the synagogues and stuff. Like he was he was with the prostitutes and thieves. So a lot of the times, the same people that everybody go and proclaim to worship, his right-hand man and right-hand woman was the one that they root against. So, I mean, you know, that's a whole nother topic.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus' wife worked the street. Mary Magdalene.
You know, I think Ghost in time will see what it comes out to. Like, you know, in time, you can 5 years down the road, 10. You know, this is what the outcome is. People are going to judge you based on what they wouldn't do. What you're doing is very rare. You know what I mean? I think it's cool, right? But at the end of the day, if she wasn't attractive, you wouldn't even try to invest in her. If she was just an average looking woman, she wasn't attractive, you'd be like, nah, I'm good. But she's attractive. There's some things you'll overlook. And I don't know, you know, maybe you know her character, but again, with the good comes the bad, and in time you'll know if it's something that would work out. And that's the same with even an average looking woman.
Exactly.
Same thing, no difference. And in time, I'm gonna know if she's got a history, doesn't have a history, but who knows, right? We all will know in time and see how it turns out.
Yeah, and I think the overall thing too, and you know, like I said, with it, like you said, everything good comes with bad and vice versa. But and the same thing I would say to other brothers, do I tell them like, hey, go out in the street and look for this? No. Do I say go out? Because I didn't look for it. You know what I'm saying? I was doing me. I was vibing. You know what I'm saying? But it depends on what you want. And at the end of the day, that goes down to pressure. That goes down. A lot of guys still operate off a high school mentality. And they grown men, 40, 50, 30 years old. They still have a high school mentality of groupthink. If you don't know what groupthink is, look it up. It's literally if Joe is the alpha around the block and Joe say it ain't a good thing, everybody else fold to it. You know, if Bruno say I'm not rocking with it, everybody else laugh and say I'm not rocking with it too. Does that make and then you would have to ask yourself, well, what kind of man are you? Do you make decisions for yourself, or do you just because right now you can let's say you wife up, regular girl, clean history from what you know, everything like that. And you say, okay, yeah, this is me. But she's a bitch. Nobody likes her. Bad attitude. Everywhere she go, displeasant, bad to be around. And, you know, lo and behold, somebody named Robert get in contact with you and say, hey, like, yeah, you know, no disrespect, but I know your girl from back in 89. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, some guys are petty enough to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just for sport. That's for the kill of the game.
Yeah, of course.
That comes with the game. Some guys just want to do that. Some guys choose violence when they wake up in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's listen, I think it's brave of you to put it out there, because if she does have an history, like you said earlier, look, there's women that have had 50 partners and are just a regular girl. Not a more. Exactly, in the U.S. I know one in particular where she was sleeping around. She was a good girl, and then she became whatever. Had so many partners based on all the pictures she had in her box, right? So really, at the end of the day, what's that all about? The difference is they're giving it away for free. Here, you're paying for it. At least they're being compensated. I hate to tell you that, but in the U.S., they give it away for free. It's incredible. But yeah, so going back to what you said, I just think the question then becomes is, okay, you're going to bring it to the U.S. Where are you going to move to? Is she going to acclimate to their culture? Will she be the same person? These are all things you got to consider. I think the history of it, that can be set aside. You know, I think whatever the history is, you can live day by day and try to get beyond that. Bringing it to the U.S. then becomes the biggest challenge.
All right, hold on. Give me a second. Hold on, Ghost. Let me get the super chat. Costa Travels $4.99. Every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Woman can change. So woman can change. So thank you for that. Costa Travels $4.99 donation to Raze birthday travel fund for this month. I highly appreciate you for that. And you know, let me see what else we got here. Okay. Yeah. So let me see. And thank you, Roller Tape, for sure. Roller Tape, thank you for that. Everybody who's been donating. I see somebody asked for the link real quick. I'm about to end this stream though in a few minutes. But let me see. Rod's talking about, and it's good to see Rod back over here. Haven't seen Rod in a long time on the panel. So shout out to Rod M for popping on, you know what I'm saying? Chip is in the building. Salute, Chip.
Yeah, I think, I'll tell you, I have a little bit of a guilt trip coming back on. I hope I didn't try to encourage the Pookies and Rays to start going out there for the pay for play.
Where?
This is a while back. Yeah, a while back. So I kind of feel a little bit bad because I know Pookies and Rays were listening in.
No, they they about to go out and get married now.
I seen that video of Cartagena where they
guys in Medellin. You're a Medellin guy. Got Medellin. You know what I'm saying? So guy got a wife out there in Medellin. From the other day, he was on my panel the other day.
Okay.
You know what this does? This starts a universal conversation. That's what it does. At the expense of my, you know what I'm saying, at the expense of me. So
what do you mean? Could you elaborate?
What I mean is that's just like, to your point earlier, you said what you're doing is very rare. Stamp that statement.
Sure.
That's what I mean, because literally that's like you being castrated. I'm being castrated for everyone to have the conversation.
I think there's a lot of judgment there. People are going to judge you.
I know it. That's what I mean when I say it comes with it, because typically you're going to have more come against you than that would come and say, well, what does he think? Or let me think about this. More people are going to go with their first gut feeling before they decide to think.
Well, no, I mean, going back to what you said, listen, imagine you have a pay for play. She's so beautiful. And then you're thinking to yourself, damn, I would wife her up. This has probably happened to a lot of the guys, right? She's so hot and then she's great in bed, whatever. You're like, dude, I'm going to wife this one up. But what is all that about? That's love. It's a combination of the physical and the femininity, because you're dealing with women in the U.S. that are very masculine and not even as attractive. And then all of a sudden you got one that's attractive and feminine. You don't even know how to deal with that. You're like, oh my God, I've never been with a feminine woman. In the U.S., they're very masculine. They're telling you what they, so it's a different dynamic. That's why these guys wife up these pay for plays, or they're tempted to.
I'm old. I'm gonna let Bad, when you're not talking, mute the mic, because you got a crazy amount of feedback.
I do. Everything is on mute. My TV and all that. You sure?
Yeah, but don't worry. When you're not talking, we just put you on mute. But go ahead. What you got for us, Bad? I was about to end the stream, but go ahead, Bad. Salute.
Bad. We know who you are.
I just want to say this: that the women that the men that really love overseas, you got to think about how many bodies they have and all that, and then you're not even thinking about, all right, let's get tested. Now, I'm over here, trying to have fun. Like I'll be honest, if I find love, overseas, she can't be even messing with nobody. Cause at the end of the day, a hoe gonna be a hoe, bro. So if you love a hoe, you remember what Snoop said? Nah. Even with America, women is trifling and all that, but it's how you pick them. If she tell you that her line of job is what she do, you gotta keep her in that position. Be like, all right, I can't love her. I just gotta lust. Like at the end of the day, but guaranteed, like you just can't slip up, cause she in that type of field work. You might get some of that. Actually, you could, but you just gonna be spreading it.
Right. I'll say this. If you're talking to her 5 times a day, high probability she's not a pay for play. She's always checking in with you every couple hours. Some of these women do that. Sometimes you got to tell them the back, I got busy. Like they're checking with you because they like you, right? So they check in with you every 2 to 3 hours. That's a good sign. It's hard to find a pay for play that makes herself available to you every few hours. She's too busy playing.
Right, but this is a good question. Why is she the one from Roller Tape? Why is she the one, Ghost? Why is this one the one? We know she look good. We seen the video. I dropped that link.
Yeah, I'm not convinced on the the looks and everything is fine, bro. But if you know what I'm saying, shout out to the brothers that actually like are used to looks, are used to the physics, and they're not like fully persuaded. Everybody wants to wake up to something decent in the morning. That's a fact. That's just the biology of a man. That's how we wired.
Yo, bro,
You
ain't
know what I'm
lying.
saying? But at the same, is he trying to say something? Or?
Yeah. I was trying to say you ain't lying, but I need to know if you know how to cook, you know how to clean. Know what I mean? Like, I need to know that what you know how to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, but I think if he's got one from the Dominican Republic, he stays there. He can get a maid to cook and clean. That's very common.
That's like $20. If that.
Right. If he's got a hot girl, he doesn't need her getting her hands dirty, man. If you're bringing her to the U.S., I mean, most people can't afford somebody.
I gotta jump off here because my phone going dead. Let me
All right, Big Game. Shout out to you. Drop your channel link, Big Game.
Shout out to Big Game.
Well, let me say this real quick to R, because he talked about the Pookies and the Rays and whatever. See what y'all did? Y'all said, listen, we going to these countries because the Pookies and the Rays, they can't get there. It's too far. They don't want to travel. It costs too much to get to that country. Yo, the Pookies and the Rays said, okay, I'm gonna fix you. We came up with something new. It's called Send It In, and we getting to over to Thailand and all of that. That's what the Pookies and the Rays said. So the best thing that you do is when you find a country that's popping and all of that, keep that shit to yourself. Don't put it on.
100%. Well, here's what I will tell you. There's places that are very dangerous, even more dangerous than most cities in America. That was it. Even more dangerous than that. See, that was my girl calling me. Even more dangerous than the cities in America. And nobody's going to go there. And these guys are pushing these places. I'm going to tell you guys the truth because I lived in one of them. The problem you're going to have is you might be able to move around during the day, but as soon as the sun comes down, good luck on that one. You just increase the odds of getting robbed.
Hey, let me ask you a question. I need you to go ahead and sub to the channel, fellas. Gangs, all of y'all sub to the channel. Are definitely.
I'm gonna watch y'all see what you're doing. You sub to mine as well, and go to that.
Yeah, when I see y'all down there, I'll check that when I get off here. But for sure, like sub and then one thing I gotta respect is that you sound like one of them old Wall Street cats, man. You sound like one of them guys that sit down out in the porch with a cigar and a rollie on his wrist.
Hey, that's me. I just finished smoking a cigar. I ain't got a Rolex, but
Well, Ghost, this for you, Ghost. And Jane Go, thank you for the $5 donation. Raze Travel Fund for birthday coming up this month. Shout out to everybody who's been donating to the Cash App and the Super Chat. Double R, remember some of these women deal with 300 to 500, okay, 300 to 500 different men a year. It's just business to the woman who wants to get married and retired. Well, you know.
So what I would say to that is that it's just like Jay-Z said, it's politics as usual. Ain't nothing changing the game. It's you know what I'm saying? So that's what I said. If you coming into this with a rookie mindset, then you definitely not gonna last. But you gotta already have some type of street to you, have some type of book sense to you. I mean, it don't take book sense, but you know what I'm saying? Have some type of sense in what you're doing. Don't hop on the devil's playground if you ain't got no motherfucking sense. You're gonna get swallowed up.
Like when I went overseas, you know what I mean? It was a whole bunch of women flirting with me. Now I'm on the beach, cause I'm tatted up. On I had my one chain on, I ain't had all my jewelry. I got a safe and a hotel and all that. Like I don't do no Airbnb. Now I mean, once I travel overseas, I'm in where Americans is at and all that. I don't really got all my jewelry on unless I'm in the resort, and then I'll be like, all right, okay, you know, I'm good. But I know when a chick be like, all right, I want to fuck around. Yo, one thing, ain't no chick pouring my drink. I always got my bottle. Now I got my trees. Now I mean, I'm very connected. But at the same time, I'm not trying to fuck a chick that got 300, 500 bodies a year, and then you never know. She slipped up because when you go overseas, our economy money is worth more than their money, so they won't mind even taking off a condom. So other than that, really gotta know the shorty. Like bro said, like
100%.
to her. Now I mean she ain't in that type of feel. This like shorty that you had up here, double R with NYC Future. He eating, she good. Now I mean, but I know she got her OnlyFans and all that stuff. But you know, it is that I know who to touch and who not to touch. Now I mean, I don't really touch girls that's out there on these mainstreams on OnlyFans and all that. You know how many men that they mess with.
Yeah.
I mean,
Listen, there was a woman, very good looking. This is in Colombia. My friend was talking to her for a minute. She went out with him. They were drinking beers. She was slamming down 10 beers by herself. He's still on beer number 2, right? She's slamming 10 beers. They go back to the hotel room. She's telling him, let's have sex without a condom. This guy started questioning things. She goes, she's going to go to the washroom. She goes to the washroom. He opens up her purse for a second. She's taken 3 different medications for STDs. I don't know.
See? I mean, and then
Exactly.
and when over there, in country, they don't have the same type of medical that we got. So the shit might be stronger than in America. So you be like, God damn, like old boy from Dead Presidents. Now I mean Chris Tucker. Now I mean he said it's some in my blood. Now I mean he messing around. Now I mean all these different type of women.
But listen, but here, let me ask you this. Let me real quick.
Yeah.
She's on a scale of 1 to 10. She's probably a 9. She's very good looking. Show me a picture. She's very good looking. But she goes to the washroom. He opens up the purse. He's like, "How the hell is this girl I've been talking to want to have sex without a condom? Normally, it's the other way around. They ask you to put a condom on." He just said, "I just got to open her purse, find out what's in it. Just something doesn't add up." He was suspicious. He found one for syphilis, one for gonorrhea. One. I mean, he was just reading it. He took a screenshot of it. Told her, no, I don't even know how he did it, but he ended up having sex with her with a condom. But then afterwards, looked up the medication when he got home. It's like 3 different STDs. I don't know what the third one is.
But you know what's crazy now? You know, 2010, if you have an iPhone, only thing you got to do is scan the medication and it pop up on you.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
And
there was once a woman that spoke one time. And she said, you know what I'm saying? She had a full conference. And she, you know what I'm saying? She was speaking about how her first time she got HIV.
Wow.
And you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of cases out here. That's why I say like you don't have to collect a whole bunch of bodies to be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like you know so there's so many different, that's why I said like we have to start using our brain cells around these things and really think across the board. And even though it may be uncomfortable to a lot of people, and sometimes it may be higher than a lot of people's capacity of mental thought, but we still got to have the conversation.
Well, hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's leave it at that. Derek B, thank you for that $2. I'm about to break out. It's Mother's Day, guys. Watch some basketball too, but it's Mother's Day. So we're going to leave it at that. Great discussion.
It was my B-Day. I turned 38, bro.
Oh, happy birthday to you, Dad. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Many more to come. But thank you, all you guys, for coming up. Subscribe to everybody's channels up here. Big Games, you drop your channel right there. Of course, shout out to Future World Films. Kaboom, guess who stepped in the room? Shout out to you, bro. You know, everybody, for your donations. I highly appreciate you guys. I might come back live later on tonight. But shout out to Ghost Bags for telling the story. Go ahead and subscribe to Ghost Bags channel. His channel link is dropped. You know, look at the proposal right there. The Sasua proposal right there. And check out the female he's talking about that he's engaged to right there.
Go subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and get sub up.
Thank y'all.
But Ghost, you gotta know, at least you gotta suspect something. You gotta give us something. I mean, you know, I'm gonna subscribe. I want to continue this conversation with you, kind of just to dig into your mind, not to be disrespectful, just to kind of get where you're at. So
that's fine.
Because for me, it's like it takes a lot of courage, man, to do certain things.
Yeah, I know for a fact. That's why I said like to at least spark the conversation, it's gonna be like wildfire. Because you're gonna have more pullback than you have anybody that's gonna sit and say, well, let me think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll drop off. Salute.
All right,
Salute to the panel.
The link is in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If you rock motorcycle, sub up. If you travel, sub up to the Gangster Lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? We're making big moves out here. It's the Gangster Lifestyle. Peace. I'm out.
Peace.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Raze. I'll see you later on tonight if you come back on.
All right, Rod. Shout out.
Bye,
Always good to talk to you. All right.
Likewise.
Yeah, and that was great panel, great conversations. Shout out to Ghost for putting up, Travel Squad, all these guys putting up. Subscribe to all these guys' channel. If you want to see the Sasua proposal right there, who's Ghost Bag's been talking about on his channel, sub up right there, Sasua proposal. That's the video right there, Sasua proposal of him getting on his knees out there inside the Sue and proposing to the Sasua girl. Who, you know, they saying that she was nicknamed Scooter Girl, but Ghost Bags does not care. So he's happy and he's happy and in love. So so we'll see if it progresses into the marriage at the end, and I'm quite sure he'll be back up here to give us updates on his marriage or his marriage date whenever they get that straight and settled, and quite sure he'll be back up here to let us know how it's going. Like I said, Sasua proposal right there. Check that Sasua proposal out. Polo Styles. Yeah, no, it might work out, Polo Styles. It might work out. You never know. You never know. You just never know. All right, guys. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and I'll be back live later on tonight, more than likely. So shout out to everybody. Anybody need a $10 off StreamYard right there? Hit that link right there. $10 off StreamYard. Got to get your $10 discount StreamYard. You do live streams like me, Raze on his YouTube platform and other platforms, and like Instagram and I think Facebook also. You go live on if you want to do it. Shout out to Travel Squad's trolls. He says, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Travel Squad for pulling up. Great conversation, man. So until later on, I'm Raze, and I am out. Happy Mother's Day.